Usually I let the
When
ace
she lives
read
in the
it.
house, it's in. Fire.
If she doesn't want to do it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but if she forgets,
I don't know which part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's called fire. Okay.
I don't think that's Canyon Street though.
Well.
Canyon Drive, Canyon Drive.
Because the fire trucks had to come,
That's
see, on one side.
Yeah,
Fire
and he
trucks
still has a
had to come up the other way because they couldn't.
road
they
closed
had one
things
down
around
front,
that corner.
Then
So
they had
he
to come
got a
up
little cleaner.
because they couldn't make the telephone pole because the car,
Let's make
because
sure.
the car up on the
Yeah,
corner
what
was
street you live
parked
on?
to the corner.
Canyon Drive.
So they, I always say about that yellow parking close to the corner.
Well, it
So the
happens.
fire trucks had to go all the way around.
All right. This aside. Okay.
Those extras.
All right, so let's call the meeting to order. This is the conditional use, Canonsburg Council conditional use hearing for Monday, March 8th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Meeting called to order. Okay, moment of silence. Okay, let's pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Here. Here.
I didn't make it Monday.
Here.
Here. Okay, any guests? Yep, no guests. Okay, what's up?
Are we considered guests? We're the
Yes.
applicants.
Yes, you're the applicants.
My name's Bob Aiello with Omni Site
Come
Media.
up here. Come.
Bob, you can actually come up here to the microphone, please.
Okay, well, George is gonna be speaking, of course, he's with me as well.
Okay,
From the managing partner,
okay.
George Lulo.
Yes, sir. Right into the microphone.
My name is George Lewis. I'm from Omni Site Media.
Okay.
Happy to be here to present our application, revised application
Okay.
for a billboard for hopefully for approval.
Okay. You guys hear that? Okay.
So you can relieve your mask. I mean, you can talk to them. I don't think it's, you have, there you go. And that'll be better, I bet.
Whatever
You're
you
6 feet
say,
away from everybody. So,
you're in charge.
yeah,
So
you're 6 feet
conditional
away.
use, does he meet all the conditions? Josh?
Yes, they meet all of our conditions. They've gone through and have received a few variances for their billboard as well. So what I'm kind of asking for as kind of a last minute cleanup of everything is that their site plan to be updated, just with all the information from the variances and the location on the billboard. Other than that, everything else is addressed.
Okay,
This is my first visit to this municipality. I'm happy to be here, of course. I understand that my colleagues have been here several times, maybe
they have.
4, 5, or 6. So we're hoping that this is the final step to get the approval of the billboard so that we can proceed with getting it up and running.
Okay, all right. You guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I don't.
Okay. Now, originally talked in the planning commission meeting about Canonsburg getting some type of signage on the actual board. Are you aware of that? And is that still something that can happen where Canonsburg has, whether it's some type of welcome sign, welcome to Canonsburg, or something like that on the actual board? In addition to that, there was conversation about possible special events, not every event that we do, but more of our bigger events that we're able to advertise onto that board.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm well aware of both of those items. And we, depending on the specifics, we don't have any problem with either one of those.
Okay.
So we can accommodate that. We can, the devil's in the details, but we can work out the details as we proceed with construction and selling advertising. There'll be enough time, space time for you to have occasional advertising of your events.
Okay.
And some kind of sign of the township's identity.
Yes.
As well.
Yep. Okay.
Good enough for me there, big guy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Lucius, right?
It rhymes with clueless.
Clueless. Okay.
It's
Clueless.
Lulis, LULOS.
Okay.
I never knew, I've had that name for 72 years. I never knew it rhymed with clueless until my daughter was on the phone one day and she was trying to explain her name, my name. And then she said that and I said, oh my God, that's right. I never realized that. But now I use it all the time.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. If there aren't any comments or we can actually make a motion to accept the application or the conditional use application for OmniSite Media LLC to install a billboard located at 4 Coins Drive in Route 79, which is OI Flex, required a conditional use. So Denise, what should
We're just here to listen to the information about the billboard. We will vote on it.
Oh, that's right.
Meeting after this.
Okay.
at 6:30.
It'll be added to the agenda, sir.
I see. That's
Well, I
great.
didn't mean to steal your thunder. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay.
It's fine with me. That works.
You know, you're on the site where the Hazel Mines used to be.
Yeah.
Back in the days, that's where the mine, they used to mine for all the coal around here.
Oh, is that
Back
right?
in the
Well,
days.
I'm from West Virginia originally. I'm well aware of the history of this area
Yeah.
and mining
Yeah,
and how
Yeah.
important that has been for over a century.
yeah,
So,
that's what used to be the Hazel Mine where you're at in that area. In fact, you might still see concrete foundations still over there.
I'm sure we will,
Yeah.
or we would if we got that deep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Well, I thank you for coming in, and what we're going to do now is just, we will wait to start our council meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
You're welcome to stay and sit, and then we will actually vote at that time.
Well, we'll stay and make sure that you don't have any further questions.
Okay.
So we're available just in case.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you very much. Okay, hey fellas, I need a motion
Motion.
to adjourn. Motion made by Ed York. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Harry Bowman seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one's opposed. All right. Meeting adjourned.
On Potomac Avenue.
2, 3 hours.
Right on the corner. No, that's Moon. You're out there.
You know, if you have this.
Because I just found out today, and I go there.
Hey, chief. Meeting started at 6, so I could stop downstairs. I was gonna stop downstairs. Started at 6.
I made a point that they gotta call me back.
I know.
Yeah, right with my.
Right. I understand.
You never knew about who was named Jefferson.
The Chichi Quagios, one up, go up, go up. Del Monte.
You never heard the story about RT? What? No, he followed the guy, arrested the guy. The owner of the place acted suspicious. RT got him. You never knew that story.
Everybody got their microphones on?
Yes, sir.
You're good. I can't tell something. Red looks,
We're good.
you guys got, everybody got their microphones on?
Yes, sir.
Green? Yes.
Green? Okay. All right. We'll call the meeting to order for Monday, March 8th. It's a virtual Zoom meeting. Nobody else in council, but, or in the room, but council and associates. Start off with a moment of silence. Okay, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if we get a roll call, please.
Mr. Bowman,
Here.
Mr. York,
Here.
Mr. Russo,
Here.
Ms. Bale,
Here.
Mr. Severine,
Here.
Mr. Chandler,
Here.
Mr. Bell.
Here. Okay. Do we have any guests tonight? No, none in present because we're not allowed in here. Borough manager, Denise, anybody, or Joe, our solicitor?
We have about 13 individuals willing to make public comment. At least they're listening.
Okay,
So I need to set it up. You'll be able to hear them and talk to them through that speaker right in front of you.
Okay.
So just give me a second and I'll get it set up.
okay.
Are they gonna sign on or?
No, that's a.
Did you have to enter a screen name and an email address? What is it?
I don't want mommy to touch any of this grass because he keeps going. So I was
It's okay. It's just grass. Who cares? Put it back. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. We're still trying to figure this out. Normally we come to these things in person and well, we all know how that's going. So, one of the comments that we have is we've been having food trucks come to our neighborhood for the whole past year, and we have them on private property, and we don't understand why this is such a big deal. Why there needs to be a permit, and it's almost to the point where you're saying that we're not allowed to have stuff on private property. It's with the government telling us that we can't have private property. I just don't quite understand how that's something you guys can do. So I mean, it's something that's brought our whole community together. My wife and I just recently moved to this neighborhood, and we've met a lot of great people. All our neighbors go out, and it's a good way just to get sense of community and get a good meal. I mean, there's been times we've stood around and just eating our meals, talking to our neighbors, and it's almost like having a community meal. So I don't understand the justification for changing the ordinance recently, and it just seems like a poor choice on the council's part.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you guys now.
Okay, we were having a phone. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to let our solicitor comment on this first. So, can you or can't you?
I can. The intent of the ordinance is not to prohibit any gathering on private property. It's not the property owner that are responsible for this permit. It's the vendors in town that are responsible.
Can you hear that?
It was really light. Could you speak up a little bit?
Okay, sure, we'll do that. Here we go.
The intent of the ordinance, and I've talked to the code enforcement official, and my name is Joe Delphonse. I'm the solicitor here at the Borough of Canonsburg. The issue is that the vendors have to pay these permit fees. Our understanding is that they were setting up their vending outside somebody's home, but they were selling to the general public in the Apple Hill community. That's the intent of the ordinance. It wasn't to penalize any homeowners. It was a permit for those mobile vendors.
So this is Jennifer Kessel, and I invited the food vendors into our development. We all pay homeowners association fees. It is a private event for our development only, with the exception of last month in which we obtained a permit. We have not ever publicly publicized this. It has always been in a private Facebook group that is for our homeowners association members only. And so I'm a little confused how it's, how the ordinance reads is to the general public, but this is not an event to the general public. There is no invitation that is extended to a broader community except for Apple Hill residents who pay a homeowners association fee.
And I understand that it's not that it's a private events that they're selling to residents of the borough of Canonsburg.
Okay, so then with this ordinance as it stands,
That's what the ordinance reads as. It's no different as if they were parked on a private parcel downtown business district.
We lost you. Hello? This is better about Zoom.
Yeah, we lost that.
Hello?
yes, I'm still here.
Hello?
Okay. We got you back.
Jennifer, is that your name? I'm sorry.
Yes, my name's Jennifer.
Okay, I'm sorry. You went out for a while and we didn't hear. You started into what you were answering him with. We didn't hear you. Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't hear any of that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I believe it's on your guys' end, not ours. You guys are the ones cutting out.
Yeah, we keep losing.
I did
I
hear.
don't know. We're checking on it right now.
Sure. I did hear the initial explanation, and while I would just like a clarification on, this does say to the public, so if I hold a private event and I have my guests on my property who are purchasing food, is that considered a public event and I need to have a food permit for that?
We're talking two different scenarios. I'm not gonna go into hypotheticals with you. If you are gonna have such an event, I suggest you talk to the code enforcement officer to walk through it.
Yeah, are you there?
I am here, yes. Can you hear me?
It's our connection or is it their connection? Or both?
I,
Jennifer?
yes, I'm still here.
Is
she on a cell phone, Joe?
No.
No, it's on you. It's on your end. I have been able to hear her clearly the entire time. It's at the building that it's breaking up.
Can you guys hear us?
Jennifer, I hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I could hear you too, Jennifer. This is Nino.
Hey, Nino. Can you guys hear anything yet?
Nothing.
Okay.
Hey, Jennifer,
Yes.
you're back in again. It's either you, I'm not saying whose fault it is. We're having a problem. It keeps going in and out.
Can you hear me? I thought I saw a headline.
Trying to figure out how we can fix this, because I don't want to keep doing this to you or keep. And now I can, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can we-
Well,
Go
one
ahead.
option, Joe, is if she could pick up a cell phone,
Yep.
I can call her and we'll be able to hear. So if she wants to give us a cell phone number, I don't know if that interferes with your. Okay, so. Everybody will still be able to hear her.
How about,
Ask her if she has a cell phone number.
does anybody,
See if she has a cell phone number.
Jennifer? Hello?
Yes, I just put it into the chat.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What was it, Kelly? Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we? We can, it depends on what council thinks.
Thank you.
If this group up here wants to have a discussion, we could get 3 representatives from council that want to meet with them. And have our solicitor and have our solicitor and the code enforcement officer there.
Hey, Jennifer, I don't know if it's going to help, but at least we'll be able to hear you as you guys work through this. I'm Rich Russo, one of the council people, so I'll put you on speakerphone here and you can talk to our president, RT Bell, and his solicitor, Joe Delfonso.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Hold on.
Okay, Jennifer, I hear you real good. How do you hear me now?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Technology is lovely when it works.
Yeah, and we don't want
so-
you to think that we're not wanting to hear what you're saying. It just keeps going in and out. Okay, now
That's okay.
ask your question again. I'm sorry. Let's try this
Sure.
again.
Sure. So first, hi, thank you for having us, Jennifer Kessel. Wanted to discuss a little bit. I planned this obviously for our development in our community, and we did move it to private property at the request, I think, of the borough in the fall. And so we were a little shocked to get the notice recently. Under now procedurally, from our standpoint, while it is on the vendors to get the permit, et cetera, that creates more work for me, an organizer who works full time within our community and really just did this out of servant leadership for the Apple Hill residents. It's created a burden on me from a paperwork standpoint. And so if we can't get this approved as a private event, then I would ask for the borough's consideration on approving this as a permits that one get at a time, or that there are no permits required for these vendors.
Okay, I think, you know, we've heard what you said. The solicitor, I believe our solicitor's here. I know he's here. If you could hear him, let him comment one more time, and then maybe we can come up with a little solution here to work with you.
Fantastic.
That may be a possibility to take a look at it. I suggest we set up some kind of meeting before the weather gets too warm here and you guys want to permit, that maybe we can get with the code enforcement officer and a committee of council to work through this process.
Okay, fantastic. And should I reach out to somebody to set up that meeting?
No, you're speaking to the group that you have to. I suggested we can only have 3 council people at any meeting unless it's a full open meeting. But I think what we can do is we'll get 3 representatives from council here, and our solicitor, the borough manager, and sit down. We can have our borough manager call you possibly tomorrow and set up a day at the end of this week or next week, if that's good for everybody.
That would work for us. Thank you so much. We appreciate the consideration.
Okay, yeah, we want to work this out. We're just trying to figure out how we can help you and help us and protect our business people, et cetera, et cetera. No hardship on you, believe me.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Okay. Who all, we want to do this right now? Let me just pick out a committee. I need 3 people.
Why don't we see if there's any other additional
Okay.
comments? Joshua Vargo, I think he was asking regarding cameras.
Was he on?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, thank you. What would your name is again? I'm sorry.
Joshua Vargo.
And you live at where, Joshua?
I live in East End, sir, right by the park.
Okay, good. What is your question?
My question is, sir, is the recent photos that were just put up by the security system that installed the cameras and the ones that were shared by Mr. Severini, you can clearly see my backyard and into the house by that camera that is on the park. So is that not an invasion of my private property? And is it going to be lowered or taken care of by the borough? I'm fine with the camera, obviously viewing the town park, but what about my property? And how do I know that it's not being, my property is not being viewed?
Yeah, I'm going to let the solicitor talk to you and we'll get some, I'm not aware of any of this about what you're having a problem with. I know they put cameras up in the park.
They posted it and I shared it. let people know that we put cameras up.
Okay, yeah, this is something, I'm glad you brought it to our attention because nobody's, let the solicitor comment.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the positioning of the camera, and I'm sure the police department's the one that has access to those cameras, so we'll take a look to get it adjusted.
Yeah, the mayor and the mayor and the chief of police are sitting here. They're concerned about it now. So they will look at it. And do we have a phone number for him? Callie? No. You, okay.
Mr. Barber had reached out to me over the weekend.
Okay.
And I, informed him that definitely can call in and talk to that very.
Okay, Councilman Chandler said he has the phone number for you. So give us a day or so to get in touch with it. And I believe it'll probably be our chief of police that will call you back. Is that correct? Is that okay?
Yes, that would be absolutely fine. Thank you, sir. I just wanted to bring it to the council's attention.
We're sorry for the problem. I'm glad you brought it up because most of us are not aware of it all. Is that all, sir?
Yes, that was all. Thank you very much. Looking forward to hearing back.
Okay, well, thank you very much. All right, we'll be back in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like we've addressed everybody's.
Okay,
tonight.
okay.
Give me 1 second here, and we'll go back to.
On this, well, I don't know where, okay. Okay, I guess he's worried if you zoom in, you can see it. I don't know what you can see, but I don't either, but I'm sure, hey, if he's concerned about it, we can take care of it, Okay.
I bet you that's it.
Might be. Yeah, you can get his address, Alex, to make sure. Rich has a picture of some house. And cut that out right away.
Yeah, they're picking them up. That's how, when I,
Check with Kim. I'll shoot you a picture of it.
Well, actually, yeah, you have them.
yeah, it's already up on the screen and everything. That's why.
Okay, is that okay there? Okay, on the other problem, I'm just gonna deal with it while we're on it. On the other problem, we're gonna have a meeting with him. I definitely want to be there for this. And who else, what other two council people would like to be on there for the East End problem? You want to stay away from it, John? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, who would like to be on
Bowman
it?
doing.
Be on it.
Okay, Mr. Bowman? Who else? Rich?
For what? East End, I'm sorry.
East End.
Who else would like the meeting with the people in the East End?
Sure.
Apple Hill.
Oh, you mean Apple Hill?
Apple Hill, I'm sorry. Yes, we are, both of them in the East End. I'm sorry. Yeah. Myself, Mr. Bowman volunteered.
Rich?
Sure.
Okay, three of us? Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's get our times together when we can meet, and you guys want to meet like early evening to make it more convenient for her, so she doesn't have to take off work or something?
Yeah, I'd rather do it early evening.
Okay, like maybe 6 o'clock, if that's good, 6:30?
Yeah.
Denise, if you want to make the phone call for her, how about, we don't want to, I don't want to bring this on too long. It's next week, middle of next week, next Wednesday, okay? Or you want to do it? Trying to think. I can't do it this Wednesday or Thursday. I know that. Friday, I could do it. I don't know if you just want to do it on Friday at 6 o'clock. I don't know.
This Friday?
Yeah,
Not good,
okay.
but next week looks
How about-
kind of wide.
Well, I can do, well, I take that back. I can do it Monday or Tuesday. I keep forgetting it's after 5 o'clock, so I'll be done back from work. Go ahead, Denise.
I did get a notice that I have to call this Thursday for jewelry duty.
Okay. Yeah, they're having trials, yes.
Don't know whether I'll have to serve or not.
Okay, well, can you have,
I'm good Wednesday of this
Okay.
week. Next week, I'm good every day except
Tuesday, so Wednesday this week,
Yeah.
Tuesday,
and I'm the,
Monday, Wednesday,
If
Thursday,
I
Friday.
can't make it, how about Josh?
yeah,
If I have to serve.
can we do it? Yeah, I'm not available Wednesday or Thursday and you're available. So could we do it? What did you say? Next Wednesday is okay?
Next week, Wednesday's fine.
Next
fine.
Wednesday, 6:00? And have Josh there? 6 or 6:30 is either, whichever one works for her. So
15th or 16th at 6.
is that okay for you, Harry?
Email us, let us know.
Mr. Bowman?
Okay.
Is that okay for you? 6 or 6:30 next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just let us know, Denise. And if you can't make it, Josh. In fact, if you can come, I'd probably like to have Josh there anyway. Maybe I don't think that's a good idea to have him there. He knows the ordinance better than we do. Yeah. Okay. All right, so that's set next week. Okay, now we can move along, I think. Public comments, so we'll just go straight to that. Let's just go straight to that. I don't want to make any comments right now, but let's just go straight to the mayor's report.
Mr. President, I did all mine last week.
Sure.
Mr. President, Council, everybody in attendance, welcome. Done pretty much everything that we needed to do last week. The only thing I'd like to remind you about is picking the committee for the assistant chief's position.
Yeah.
And in case there's any additional questions for the chief or I, we could address those right now, but I think everything else is under the voting items.
Okay.
If not, thank you. Good
That's it.
evening.
Okay. Any comments for the mayor? Engineers report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nice to see you all in person again.
Yeah, yeah. We're all
Even with the
still,
technical difficulties. So this would have been a nightmare if we were still at home.
Yeah.
Just to go over some project statuses, the demolition project, at the Eagles building, that's underway. So hopefully that will be wrapped. Well, it should be wrapped up this month. We'll have everything restored and the site seeded and mulched. So it'll be a grass yard when they end up leaving. The foundation will be filled in with stone, whatever was below ground. So that way it's ready for our next project, whatever it is that we choose to put there. Our 2020, well, actually it's 2021 now, sanitary sewer repair contract. The bids will be opened on April 5th. So I will have a report for you available to decide if we're going to award that or not for your agenda meeting. So I'll have that ahead of time set for discussion. Ridge Ave, we had discussed this last month that we did have the bid opening. It came in a lot higher than what I was expecting. So I reached out to try to get some background on why the numbers were so high. And basically was getting the same answer, that it's a limited amount of work to bring in a concrete contractor for. So that was driving up the prices higher without us having another kind of project to team it up with. It's as a standalone, these are the rates that they came through. Our low bid was Independent Enterprises, and they came in at $89,655. Just to give you an idea, the next low was $113,000. So their number, I feel if we rebid this or try to change anything, we're not going to get any better numbers than what we have at the 89. Columbia Gas we're in the works of getting an agreement with them on the final number that they're going to contribute to it. The initial number that was discussed was the $35,000 in the original work for Ridge Ave. And I've put Columbia Gas in touch with the solicitor so that they can work out an agreement. So that's an item on your agenda tonight if you choose to award that contract. I was also looking into our sanitary sewer metering project that we had discussed, just to refresh everybody, because I know that was probably 2 months ago. The manhole that's over in North Jefferson, that is kind of near the Bar Association, in heavy rains, it surcharges there. So we know we have an issue there. So what we need.
South Jefferson? Excuse me.
Yes.
You said North
Yeah.
Jefferson, didn't you? Or-
I just said Jefferson.
I thought you said North. I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, I just said Jefferson, but so in order to actually do a fix, it's not as simple as just let's upside the pipe, because that may not be the real issue there. And it could cause issues downstream. So we're so close to the interceptor that if we do increase a lot of flows, we have to be careful that we're not pushing a problem downstream, which is why we want to do a metering project. So I've met with the metering company and some of our modeling people at KLH, and we've looked at the possibility of using 4 meters. There may be a need for a 5th one at this point in time until they would actually come out and look and see the condition of the manholes. We may need to add a 5th one in. if we get good rains and we can start doing the metering sooner rather than later, we could have it in as little as 3 months. But if it turns out to be a dry season, which we haven't had in a long time, it could go on as long as 9 months. Just we need to get some good rainfall so that we can actually get it something to study and to model. So once we would get that data, we would model it and we would make sure that, upsizing the pipe would fix the problem and that we wouldn't be impacting the interceptor with that fix. With that being said, I anticipate a monthly fee to have the meters to run between $5,000 and $600 or $6,500. There's just a range there because if we only need 4 meters, they run about $1,200 a month. Then you have to buy a rain gauge and there's an installation charge. So it would be roughly $4,800 with some extra charges in that first month and your last month for news and see if it's coming from Murdoch, if it's coming from up Pike. So that's how I would recommend fixing that issue is as opposed to just, like I said, upsizing the pipe because it may not fix the problem without us knowing what the hydraulic model would tell us. And the metering would give us that data.
If we would give permission tonight,
Mhm.
how long does it take them to put those in or get those in?
I would get them moving immediately. They could have them in this week. It just depends on what their schedule
You know,
is.
'cause-
So the sooner the better, because with March coming up and April, that's where our rains are going to be. And hopefully if we get some good data, like I said, we could pull them out after 3 months if we get enough data. If we don't, that's the only reason why we'd have to leave it in there
Our best
longer.
chance to get rain is now.
Right. The 2021 road project, we have a budget of around $2,500, $250,000. I'm blaming Kelly because she was telling me about saying numbers, big numbers wrong. But I'm working with Public Works to come up with our preliminary list of roads, which I will work up some cost estimates on. I know I've heard of West Pitt, that area, that section, so that's on our list. If any council members want to add some roads for us to also consider. Now, our budget's a little bit smaller this year than what we've been dealing with. I know there's been discussion on Hooks Lane, West Pitt and McEwen.
Tommy, we talked about the driveway, the short 30-foot driveway into the pool house. So that would be.
Hey, Tony, would I be able to pull off Giffen on that? No, okay. But that's only it's worth.
Right.
There's only a little section. I mean, it's not that long.
Yeah, we have based this off of that robotics we've done.
Mhm.
And we kind of go down through, and sometimes some of the roads do get done, some of them haven't got done. We've matched alleys with streets so we can get as much as we can bang for the buck. So now, I mean, we still got alleys to get through, but we're almost to the point, I mean, Hooks Lane is $100,000 job. McEwen will be in that same
Yeah.
range, West Pitt will be in a $60,000. I mean, so now when you start naming big sections of roads, now we're starting to talk bigger numbers.
Well, I was just saying, Giffen isn't like, it's not as big as McNary.
But my
Yeah.
point is to any one of you guys, if you have one in your area that we missed the robotics, or we
Yeah.
missed down through the list, please send me a text, or send me, or let me know.
Well,
We'll take a look at it. We know we're gonna address College Street, which is one of the worst roads we have in the town right now. I think West Pitt.
I think College, you're talking about East College, we surveyed that, so that should be done through CDBG.
Yes, as I said, that was one of the worst.
Thank you.
Jefferson Avenue is another one that is really bad, that we're in South Jefferson, that we're considering with the I&I money. We think we got a lot of sanitary work to do on that road. So if that all falls into place, that road might fall into place also.
Great.
So we have been trying to juggle around. I've been trying to stay out of that section over there because we are gonna do some I&I work on that section of South Side.
Hey, since I got you up here, Veronica, and I've mentioned this, Tommy, since they're gonna start working on the school, nursery school, they came and got their permits.
Okay.
Okay, now, the only street they're gonna be using, and that's gonna be a lot of heavy trucks on the 300 block of Giffen I told you about. That's already bad as it is.
Okay.
So if that's the only street they have, and it's already bad already. And I'm just thinking all the heavy trucks that's going to go in and out of that place.
Okay,
So
so we
just-
can watch that for damage as well, because
Yeah,
they'll be responsible to
it's- yeah,
repair
it's already bad
damages.
as
So
it
yeah,
is.
we can definitely look at that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna end up walking streets with Mr. Lawrence here in the next probably week or so, and doing some more detailed estimates on the roads and seeing how far we can get. As Tom mentioned, we may only get 3 roads because we're gonna do bigger chunk roads that cost a bit more than what we've been used to with our alleys. And the Public Works facility upgrades, I know we have a motion tonight also to approve KLH to go ahead and do the survey work out there. What I would like to suggest is possibly doing a master plan on the Public Works facilities where we can assess the buildings, the existing ones, what we need new coming up, and kind of do a preliminary layout of how the site would look maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now, depending on how long it would take for us to budget in and do all the repairs or renovations to the existing buildings, but just so that we could see a master plan of where we want to go and which is the best way to target it to get to that point.
I spoke to Nick today,
Yes.
and he's got some template together about 5 years. So we can do that. I mean, he's been down there with Tommy and I, and we've walked through, pretty much have eliminated most of the options to what he will show us in an option that he's come up with. And then we can proceed with starting to cost it out as far as, the repairs to existing buildings versus the build to the new construction. So when you say a master plan, I get fearful of master plans. So we can sit down and develop a plan that has to do with this specific specifications for what we're talking about doing. But he seems to, we got the survey coming.
I think the fear is, Rich, once we get the number of our overall. I think we're gonna get, this much and get this under this year and maybe take, bigger hunk again. If we can't do it all at one time, can we bite it off in pieces?
Sure.
And I don't want to see the whole project go by the wayside because we throw such a big number out that everybody goes, whoa.
No, I mean, we're not even, we haven't even gotten to numbers yet. I mean, so in a discussion that we've talked about financing some capital projects, Public Works building being 1, Eagles parking lot being 2. Denise is currently working with the bank to, put these together as capital campaign to do 2 projects, 3 maybe that we think we have in mind. So yeah, we can just put a shed up or whatever, but I think we should look at what.
Doesn't mean it's gonna be 5 years out.
Right, that was
It
just
could be-
me saying that.
It could be a 2-year project, just, let's see where we're at.
Big number thrown out to do a total renovation.
Yeah,
We
I
can
mean,
size it back and still get.
no, look, we don't even know what the number is. So,
right.
I mean, let's not get scared off by the project yet.
Yeah.
5 years, you're not even going to be here.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know. He might hang around. He might hang around.
But anyhow, Nick is going to send us over a preliminary, just kind of
I think,
a site plan.
Yeah.
Right. And by the master plan, like I said, we can term a year on it. We don't have to term any years on
I
it.
think,
It's just.
if you can
normal
do
how
it
goes.
without, too much delay or whatever it is, and you can get it, I think it's good. I think it's good for us to look at it. We'll see what Nick has, see what you have. We might put it together, split it apart, whatever, we want to do the best thing we can out there. Like Tom said, we want to get it. That's what we're after.
My comment about master plans is the ones that are sitting on a shelf
No,
downstairs.
that's
we don't
not
want-
the
yeah.
intention. The intention is more of saying, all right, building A, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z to.
How about if we follow up with another meeting at the
Yes.
site or here, and you can come along with Nick?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
No,
okay.
that works. I just, have it all in plan so
Okay.
everyone can see this much and what we need and what.
Yeah.
Go from there.
From there. And that's all I have for you.
We have to get Ridge Avenue on here for tonight, right?
Okay.
It's already on the
You
agenda.
know what? I
think
looked it
it's-
over and I missed it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought it was.
I got a
but I-
question about that.
Number
It is-
12.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, right in front of me. That's why I missed it. Okay.
I have a
Sorry
question on
about
that.
that.
You said something about they having a hard time bringing concrete people in here.
It's not a hard time bringing it in. It's for the amount of work, the contractors who bid on these type of jobs.
Right.
It's a small project. It's a very small project for them. So if there was a bigger concrete, if we were doing sidewalks throughout the borough, we would be getting a better number. It's just
Even
in a
though
fund.
the concrete place is right here, not at that far.
Because it's the contractor still has to mobilize in and bring all their
Oh,
stuff. So,
okay.
and
And
I was
there's
just
no
thinking of-
guarantee that they're gonna use that.
Well, I'm
vendor
just saying,
they're
if
not
they were
giving
using
them
that would, I mean,
Yeah,
there
but
was
we
a way
can't-
that we could,
Yeah, when they bid it, you can't tell them who's.
well, I
concrete.
know, I'm just thinking of how they would be
No,
able
it's
to
all right.
incorporate that
Now-
into something like that down there, since they're real close. Since I know in the past, not now, maybe years ago, long since concrete has done stuff in the borough. That's, I just wondering.
Right, and yeah,
Since-
with going through this way, we can't really
Because we
tell
have to
them
bid
they
it.
have to.
You know,
use
think of
them
it as
to
two,
provide
it's
it.
89,655 minus approximately $35,000.
So-
So our share would be what, 54,655 or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
I was just thinking because they were down here, that's why.
okay.
The other question was, I brought up a while back, we still have that problem up on McEwen and Gladden of the heavy trucks and all that. I'm still getting a lot of complaints. And since I know on your project is fixing McEwen, so if you're gonna fix McEwen and I got all them heavy trucks gonna go down through it, you're just wasting a lot of money.
Right, and that.
So
goes-
that's because I
Well-
talked about the weight on them roads up there. So you're gonna fix McEwen and then, well, how long is that road gonna last when I got them heavy trucks going into South Point? You still have to fix that problem.
Right, and I don't know if we can justify weight limit to keep them off of it, and I know we've discussed ordinance wise to try to
talked
find
about-
some
we
way to
talked-
limit. Right,
Way as
limit
far as you-
the
yeah.
traffic that way. I don't know if a weight study,
It's gonna take some time.
right, to
Well,
do a
I'm
weight
correct.
study on
Right,
it,
the weight
and it
study.
may not, we might not justify a low enough weight that would keep them off the road.
And the weight study is costly, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's time consuming.
I'm
It
just
takes
looking
time
at,
getting it done.
And costly.
Yeah.
right.
And costly. Thank you.
Well, I was just looking at it, since that's a project to get done.
Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
on board with you. We all agree with it. We just gotta find the right direction to head with it.
Yeah.
yeah, a good way to limit the traffic in residential areas. That's the only way I can think of. Through traffic that,
Well, I think if you can talk with Joe, I'm
Well, it's
sure,
not
I know you
it's
said
not
I
the
before.
know,
traffic.
we've discussed it. I
It's
don't
not
think
the
you've come up
traffic,
with
it's the
any.
heavy trucks that comes through. It's really not the car traffic, it's more the,
Right, for
heavier-
construction,
yeah,
whatever's
construction.
going
Either
through.
have to do a safety study or a weight study to justify it.
all right.
It will get overtime. If not.
And I think, I know we've talked about it several times. I thought the request was, how much is the study cost? I know that had been thrown out as a question several months ago, so I don't know who can answer that question, if it's Tommy, if it's Veronica, if it's John, but that's kind of where it was left.
I want to say when we got, because we got quotes Bob Robinson days. And I'm thinking, but that was for the whole borough, correct? Kind of doing
Yeah, I think-
multiple roads through.
I think you give us a cost of what it costs on the road, like on Flag Road or something. I mean, I don't remember at this point in time, but I know the number, council just kind of went, oh, okay. That point really wasn't interested because
Oh, we got a number? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, let me follow back up, but I don't want to throw a number out there.
Well,
But
Yeah.
everyone that comes up with it, when we give them numbers on it, it's always a back away thing, or else they just.
Just
Post
get
it
us,
and
see if you can get
And
us,
then-
get us the numbers.
And then a question for you, just a quick question. So it has to be a complete study of all roads or just that road?
No, we could do just that road.
Okay.
You could do
Okay.
just that road, but if you're bringing everybody in to do it,
Right.
it may be
Okay.
If you have,
more cost effective to get a few of them.
if you have a few other roads that we
Right.
have a problem with, do them while they're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's just put up a sign, no tractor trailer.
Solicitor?
That's, it's the same thing, just stating it a different way. You would have to justify the reason for not having tractor trailers. Maybe they weigh too small.
And it could
Either way,
be-
You have to justify the safety and the weight restriction.
And it could just
So I'm
be,
not getting
it could be
tractor, I'm
a
getting trailers
dual
with,
axle dump truck.
I'm getting, hold up.
Signs up to ask for a hearing.
No, I'm just saying it could be a triaxle.
Yeah, it's more of a triaxle. That's not actually tractor trailers. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. What's everybody saying here? We want
Veronica,
Veronica
what
to do
that
that.
looks like.
Yeah, I've just said that before you decide to pay. Redo that road. But it might only last 2 years.
All right.
You waste all that money.
Right, but if we don't repair it now, it's gonna deteriorate further.
Right.
And so if we get ahead of it before it gets too bad, we're just gonna end up spending more money. to try
Right,
to
I
fix it
understand
later,
that, but I
so.
just don't want to like have it for 2 years and every 2 years you're doing it. So, you know.
Right.
Well, let's see what they get back to us. Mary, you wanted to say something?
There's some signs down there, I would say 10 tons or 15 tons. How does that all happen? Is that something that's gone on in the past that we already had that sort of?
If there are signs up there.
Tom, what is that one up there, 15? Up by your house?
We were instructed by council to put this on.
Oh, okay.
A while ago.
And that's what the neighbor keeps, when they call me, they say. "It's supposed to." You're not doing it.
So.
I get the same thing Dave gets.
Well,
Yeah.
so back to what Harry was saying. So we got a sign that says a cement truck from Donaldson Supply, right? So if we have a sign up, why don't we enforce it?
Well, has to be,
You just told me it's illegal.
it has to be done.
Oh.
It has to be done.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said that. It has to be, and you know this, it has to be done by an ordinance. And the way he said that, it wasn't done that way.
It's exactly what we.
All
want
these
to try
stop signs in the borough, is there an ordinance on every one of these stop signs?
When they put them up, there were.
But there isn't.
That's why we had the problems when we were first developing up in, off of John Drive and up in, part of Apple Hill. When they first went up there, I wasn't on council then, but I remember when they went back and forth over that. And some council people wanted to just put the signs up, but they were explained to, you can't enforce it. So I think they did. I know they did
Well, you can
ordinances
enforce
on
it,
it
but if
then.
you ask for a hearing, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
No, so what? You're enforcing it.
Which, we have to do it with due diligence. Am I correct, Mr. Solicitor?
I would not recommend putting up signs that you can't enforce in court. You'd be wasting everybody's time and effort, but it may be a preventative measure that people may say, hey, there's a sign that says I can't drive anything above 10 tons, so I'm not gonna do it. Maybe. I would
Yeah.
not recommend that though.
That's what Pat Derrico used to recommend. Put them up.
Put them up.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, let's look into that a little bit more. You're going to get us the information, right? Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you.
One more question,
Oops,
since we
sorry.
haven't seen you for a while, we might as well keep you there. Lisa, have you ironed out the timeline for specifications on the Eagles?
We talked about this.
Parking lot? Okay.
Yes, we have a meeting.
We had a meeting the other day and.
So would that be one of your ongoing projects also to get the specifications together for the parking lot?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that's not gonna happen, well, it's not gonna happen right soon, because what I have to do is we'll have to get a consultant to do it. We can't just, we need to have a design before we can do the specs. So it'll be a few months out before everyth's worked out for that.
Okay.
As long as we're heading, as long as,
4 months rather than 6 to 8.
I can't, no, it's not, and you have, I can't say that yet, until we have a consultant that we're gonna work with. and we have their timeline. I can't speak to how long it's gonna take them to do
Well,
anything.
We did. We had a discussion about it and she fully explained to me what what steps have to be done before moving on with that.
Okay.
So, we're in good shape.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, solicitors report?
Most of what I've discussed between last meeting and this meeting was discussed at the agenda meeting last week.
Okay.
I did have two issues come up. The Comcast franchise renewal agreement. Denise and I have been trying to get in touch with the representative for Comcast for the last couple of months, and she had a phone issue or something because she said she never received our voicemail. I did talk to her today. The franchise fee for the borough is at 5%. That's the maximum allowed by law. So she's going to send over a proposal in the next week or so, and then we'll bring it to council's attention and Denise's attention. May want to talk to a committee first. I don't know which committee that would apply to. So maybe the finance committee. Okay. And I did talk, moving on, I talked to the representative from Columbia Gas regarding Ridge Avenue. They have agreements that they're going to send over the next day or so. So that'll be ready for April's meeting.
Okay.
That's all I have for tonight, unless there's any questions.
That is, they're gonna send over the price you've, did you just talk about that at all?
I think the price was already
35?
Yeah, I think that price was already negotiated.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that it didn't change. So,
No.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, now we have our development director. I'm gonna come up at the right time.
Okay, good evening. Lot has been going on. A lot of good stuff is going on in the borough right now. We are working on a few initiatives, our group, and as Veronica had mentioned, parking. We are currently exploring, and with the mayor's help and our committee, we're all exploring different avenues to add parking spaces throughout town where available, moving folks around, moving permits around to free up some space in town. I'm working with Veronica. We're compiling the information to start the bid specs that will go out for the construction of the garage. Because KLH does not design garages, they have to team up with another firm that does do the design. So once that firm is identified, they will then do the specs and it will go out for bid. So it's just, again, a long process for everything. We're also working on the initiative for the steps, which you, I believe, will be voting on this evening, the steps to be placed between Bocelli's and the Mark Building to connect Pike Street up to the PNC parking lot. We're putting a lot of folks up into that parking lot. All of the permits that were in the middle of town will now be located up there. So this will be easier access for people to get down in there. The facade program, you're all probably aware that the LSA grant was awarded to Canonsburg. And my contact for that will be Carrie Fox. I spoke to him and we're getting all of the details down as to how the receipts are submitted to him for reimbursement. The application is now done. Joe looked over everything. We're good legally. And I'll be visiting with a lot of the building owners this week to get started on that. So I think we're at 11 right now. I think the money's going to go quick and people are really ready to get going on the facades, which is very exciting. We do have a new board in place and we're going to be working on some initiatives together between my department and theirs to work with some of the business owners to get more events in town and do some great things throughout the borough. We also are planning a cleanup day in coordination with the Canonsburg Garden Club. And the mayor's going to help us getting some volunteers through Allclad, and there were a few different organizations to work with. And we're going to set that and get folks to help not only with the cleanup, but also with planting of the plants and just getting the town ready for spring. Marketing, we will be featured in the In Community magazine coming up. And that is that glossy publication. It's in CM. That'll be out in the middle of this month. And what I'd just like to ask is if in the future I submit the articles for that, if there's anything that you'd like to inform our community about, I look at this as our voice to get out to everybody what we're working on and how they can help. So if there's anything you'd like to highlight in any of the upcoming issues, please let me know. We'll get an article in there for you. Let's see, Charters Creek, that's Chief.
Okay, so I think everybody's fairly familiar. 30 years ago, Charters Creek wasn't much to talk about, but in my 30 years here, I've noticed quite a significant cleanup of the creek. The point where 2 years ago, I started visually surveying under Jefferson Avenue on South Central, and I noticed a real heavy bass population, game fish. Aside, it used to be carp and catfish for years and years and years. So I started Googling different things, and you'll see they fish Charters Creek fairly heavy down below Cecil Township into Upper St. Clair Township. They bass fish that regularly. We have a big population here. So I contacted the Commission, and I talked to their biologist. Background, I'm really big outdoorsman, done a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing, and they were pretty excited. So they're going to try to get it. They can't promise me this year, but they're going to try to get it this year or next year on their inventory schedule to take a look at it and see what they can do and see what the populations actually are. Then I contacted Washington County Watershed Alliance and specifically the Charters Creek Watershed Alliance. They're willing to work with us. They're pretty excited. Some of the things we see in the near term are promoting the creek when we're ready to promote it. We want to get some kind of water quality done just to see where it's at, how much it needs to go. I've talked to the Fish Commission about possible trout stocking in the future. All this is an effort. You know, we have a great park. I think we can continue with this whole run along Charters Creek because there's talk about the trails going in. There's talk about the Montour Trail coming in South Point. Maybe we can extend it along the creek. And getting back to the Watershed Alliance, they're very interested in approaching property owners to see if we can get some right-of-ways. The problem with right-of-ways, public right-of-ways, is this is all flood control through here. So it's very tough to walk down and go fishing. So we would have to pick out, I've been out surveying. I think I have some areas where we can get out and look at it. And I'm very interested in this storm runoff too. What impurities are coming in during storm runoff. So the idea now is to go on and start promoting it as an area for outdoorsmen, because if you're not aware of it, and most people don't look for it, you'll see the blue heron population along there fishing. But bald eagles fly this like crazy. They fly up and down here at telephone level all the time. They're fishing this creek, which tells you there's a pretty healthy fish population there. Most people don't look for bald eagles flying up and down Canonsburg, but they do. They fly up and down that creek all the time. So it's pretty exciting if we're this close to maybe cleaning it up a little bit. It's definitely an amenity for Canonsburg if we can promote it a little bit. So
yeah,
that's it. So it's just work in progress right now.
So I would just like to say this is a prime example of getting folks that are interested in doing things in the community and letting them run with it and getting a small group. We have a
gentleman that's going to take over this.
Yeah, we have a couple other people that we found that love this idea and want to get involved, and they're just running with it. So, whatever help I could give, and I will be speaking to, I don't know if I was recently appointed to Washington County Planning Commission. And we have a meeting coming up, and they are, it's a Zoom meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers about the flooding all along Charters Creek. So I will find out and hopefully pull that in and find out information on helping Al and getting information for him on that. So it's just another great amenity.
Is it worth is it too premature for a spot in the In Community magazine in a edition just to kind of?
I think there's more you can promote it. Right now, it's not where it needs to be, but I think it needs to be out there that, hey, this is is pretty clean now. compared to the past. Runoff and everything else. It's just not so much like that anymore. Prime example is a pristine creek. I fish out north during the oil boom. It actually caught on fire.
Yeah.
So now it's pristine. 30 years to really clean that creek out.
Yeah.
A lot.
Like you said, we've been talking off and on about the Montour Trail and the walking trails, which everybody's into coming through here. And the idea of areas so people could fish, it's great. It's great for families, for young kids to be able to take your, the residents of Canonsburg, it's been a long time since you could take your child or your grandchild down on the creek and fish. Just couldn't do it. So now that really opens it up for everybody.
Well, and hopefully we've had meetings with Washington County Tourism and the Chamber regarding the Montour Trail, which will be coming into South Point. And we are talking to them about a way to connect it to Canonsburg, to continue it into Canonsburg and hopefully getting it up into the park somehow. So it would be great to add that to the community.
That is something they would absolutely look at, coming along that trail. And if you remember right, there was supposed to be a trail when development was supposed to happen on 4 Points Boulevard. There was supposed to be a trail there. You have a partial walking trail out by the football field. So it's definitely, you can definitely realize that.
Yeah, there's,
Boulders and.
Yeah.
but there were, along where the property was sold, Alex, you're right. There were drawings and walkways and plans and everything in, which hopefully should still be around. So
Ideally, I mean, this is just my vision. And I think I talked to Rich about it in the past. Fishing along the creek in the town park, as far as a biking trail, walking trail, somewhere along the. Back your stuff clean and maintained. If you go up to Strabane Avenue, where you have next to the site of the radioactive, you can see how well that's been taken care of up through there and how nice it looks in the trees, the rock that always kept. You're talking about a whole bunch of creek bank that the borough of Canonsburg is responsible for when you go down from when we start to the end. So hopefully there's a whole bunch of grant money out there to look at that. It's a great idea.
Hey, Tommy.
You got a can of orange.
Tom, there was.
Didn't at one time they have Army engineers go down there and clean that? Not about 10 years ago or something. They went, maybe longer than that. They went down and sprayed all them weed, all that stuff down there, vegetation and all that.
And that's not the Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
That's the borough of Canonsburg.
Okay. I remember we did something like that.
The original project.
Right.
Of the floodplain down there.
Yeah.
Now it's up to the borough of Canonsburg to be there.
well, I think it's something, we all know it, and you've said for years, it'd be nice if we could get that all cleared. So this could be the start of it instead of waiting, long periods at a time, let it keep growing back in, maybe got to start somewhere.
Well, Tommy,
Just got a couple of game plans, just keep it maintained.
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and we had that for a while, Tom and Denise, and it's just showing my age, but you were around when, and Veronica might be something that you can pick up on. When we had leverage annual cleanup, so they kind of piggybacked 1 year's of grant to help matching grant a second year, and it was continuous. It was every year they would get $60,000-$70,000. Denise, I don't know if you remember whom it came from, but so they had an annual program of creek restoration, creek cleanup, and it was just leveraged annually. It was like, how do you do that, Harvey? Well, we matched the previous years with the current year grant. So that was your matching money. But I don't know, the details, Denise, are probably still floating around somewhere. Okay. So there is a way. I mean, we have to just dust off some things and see if we can resurrect the annual cleanup, because I know Dave has tried to use the Fitz group as we've used in the park, and it's become more and more difficult, with using the Fitz group to do that kind of work. And so, we can get the state grants to help us do it.
And it sounds like,
Yeah, we took care of a section
Every year.
from from Central Avenue Bridge down to where the rake is at, the brush truck comes down into there.
Correct.
That was the main part of the floodplain, and that's where the Corps of Engineers work. So that's what we require DEP, because they when they're working together, that's a requirement for them to do a study, do a survey. What's there.
Yeah.
They look at what's in the creek, they look at what's outside the creek. So there's a whole process. What's you're talking about. But that's just that section there. We got a bunch more.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa.
So you have more?
And well, the last thing I want to say is just with the new building owners in town, I've been speaking to them daily. And we have such a great group of people that have purchased some of these buildings, are interested in some of these buildings, and want to get in there and get them done. And I had suggested a meeting, so we're going to be having a meeting with all of the new building owners in town. They want to meet each other. They want to work as a group together to see what they could do to promote and their businesses, how to work together as far as pricing. So nobody's cutthroating, and everyone's working together, and also maybe investment as a group on a couple other buildings in town. So it's just really exciting that they all want to come together, and they're really, really great people that are coming into town to invest.
thank you, Lisa.
That it?
And that's it. Yeah.
You're doing,
great.
you're doing the job we wanted, but you're doing it much better than we thought. I mean, you're way out ahead of us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Manager. Pardon me?
Committee report.
I was gonna let you give do you have a report you want to give? Okay, all right. So that covers that. Okay. Okay, we can do that. We'll go to committee reports. I think we can do on these two. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I think Joe mentioned it earlier. We have the meeting, since we're Zooming the meetings, we're keeping them, right? So we have our agenda meeting, we go over this. Still feel it's necessary. If you have something new you want to bring up, or if you want to go through your report, I don't know whether we need to do it at both meetings, but we can do it. So I'll just leave it at that. Do what you feel. If you want to go over everything again, or if you have anything to add into it, whichever you want, whatever you feel. Administration and Finance, Mrs. Bales, Mr. York.
Yes, Mr. York and I met with Denise, went over all the bills. We had an addition that we signed off on. That was an afterthought that we had just gotten the bill for, and it was already approved. So this time I'd like to have a motion.
Motion.
Okay. Which would,
To pay the bills.
okay, we have a motion to pay the bills by
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bells made the motion.
yes,
Right.
and
And I'm gonna
seconded by,
second.
yes, that's what I was trying to clear up.
We have
Seconded by Mr. York. All right, we have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Can I have a question on the motion? Roll call vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, thank you. Is that all you have for your committee?
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, code, Mr. Bell, Mr. Severine. We've been working on code, right, recently, so
Yeah.
we already
No.
discussed some of the code. So, Mr. Severine, you have a comment? Nothing right now? Okay, we'll continue working on code. We have the code meeting, I think, is coming up. They're getting ready to adopt it, hopefully soon here. It's been hanging out there a long while, so it's coming up soon.
Same thing.
Okay, thank you. Facilities, Mr. Bell, Mr. Russo. Mr. Russo?
We have one request for Tommy. The softball association has requested some lighting that they'll pay for at the concession stand, exterior lighting underneath the overhangs. I don't know who says that's okay, not okay. No, just so that when folks are standing in line at the concession area, that they have some overhead lights underneath, not anything outside of the concession area, not even on the exterior, just on the roof lighting, ceiling lighting. And we can talk further about it, but they asked for that. Yeah, I mean, they just ask if we would approve it. So I haven't seen any particulars, but I can get particulars. Okay, I'll
Okay.
find out. Yep.
That it?
Mhm.
The only other thing I'd bring up under our facilities is it's not our facility. It won't be for long. The Eagles is coming down as has been mentioned before. You can go by there and see. We had to block part of the street off about a week and a half ago because we were worried about the wall and some of that coming over onto the road and somebody getting hurt. So temporarily, we've blocked it off. The engineers came up there and said it needed to be blocked off for safety. So it's, it's not hurting anything. I don't think I've had any complaints. Anybody can't get through that little driveway. So as soon as they're done, we'll get the fence down and everything will go away, hopefully.
That was a good idea, because you noticed that when they did take the wall down, some of
Right.
that wall did fall into
We
that
knew,
road.
yeah, we knew it was going to, just as
Yeah.
long as it didn't fall on somebody, that's good. Okay, that's all I have for facilities. Parks and Recreation, Mrs. Bales. And
Yeah, we met last Thursday evening, everybody in attendance, and we also had the gentleman from the softball association, which had the request for the lighting, and the lights or, extension cords and whatever, something about LED lights. We are also meeting, they have the meeting about putting in, and Mr. Russo has had people up there looking at putting additional, the existing lights that we thought weren't operational. We found out that the lines are okay, that we only have to put heads on them. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick.
No, you're right.
Because,
You have to-
okay.
There's a little bit of work, but not.
Getting some work done up there. They have association this year. They're really excited. They wanted to tear down some fences and then approval to do what they needed in the outfield or whatever. So that's moving right along. The restroom has been ordered. It is under the budget that we thought we were going to have to spend for it, because it is more or less a glorified porta potty. It does not have surgery. So it was $10,000. Work that amount to get other things. It will have 2 stalls to change everything often. So we figured that money can go. Pathways. Rich, do we want to address our engineer, as we had asked her about some of the renderings for the pathways, because we had contacted Denise about the way that we wanted to proceed as far as funding, since we weren't able to get any grants. We've applied for a couple of them, and these pathways are getting dangerous. We're afraid somebody falls, gets hurt, and so forth and so on. And so we want to move forward. So Veronica, if you can, meet with us. We need some information. I guess when they went for the LSA grants, you had put some stuff together for them.
That's the
What are we? What are we
So
looking for?
pathways, we've talked about, Veronica, last fall. We're going to move forward with trying to get, you engage with us and starting some engineering, go up, visit in the park. The weather's good now. Do a walkthrough of our path, see if we can get some footage and just begin the process.
Show Eric. Oh, sorry.
No, we have we have an existing cost from an LSA grant, but I think at this point, we need to get square one, start again. But the drawings are what's there. We want to rehab what's there. We're not in a position to create new at this point, but just fix what we have. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so anyhow, Jimmy from Public Works is attending classes to get certified with the chemical certification. Adam, I want to call him Eric, I'm sorry. Adam has given us the okay that he is coming back to be our pool director, which is definitely was on our mind, but he's come back, he's met with Denise. We're looking at taking care of some of the issues that we had last year. We've also discussed the East End playground. Now that we have a camera down there, we're looking at putting in a couple of extra picnic tables in, maybe a couple of trees. We looked at maybe putting a pavilion in. We don't want to take the space away from what is there for the use the kids have for it, because the kids like to run down there. And rather than putting another building down there, we're looking to maybe add a table under the pavilion, put another one outside and put some trees, some shade area. And that way it'll give more accessibility to the parents that are keeping an eye on their kids and that. Basketball court, I had a request from a couple of individuals about the rims, so Rich and I talked about it. He's going to look into that. We did apply for a grant with County Hauling for $10,000. We're looking to be let us know about it at any time. With the money, we hope to take and put a new diving board in. The one that is there is going to be cleaned up and we'll be able to use that one. But we're going to have a whole new structure put in, and the gentleman that put in the pad and that for a sliding board. That way we'll know who, what, where, how it was put together, so that we won't have any liabilities. We're going to have a new bike rack put in over by the playground, and we're going to get together here very shortly to start our committee for our 100-year celebration, which will be in 2 years, not this year, the following year. I guess they've talked to Rob and John. Is that who's, are you going to take care of the concerts?
Yeah.
They're still going to look into the concerts for the summer. And we're hoping that we don't have to do anything more. We're waiting on the specifications from with COVID and that to see what we're going to have to do as far as how many people we're going to be able to admit into the pool. We've already put up passes out there. We've reduced the pavilion, the new pavilion wasn't getting any bites, so we reduced it for this year from, what was it, $125 to $75 in hopes that people will really jump on that. But it seems like it's worked. Other than that, we have a bunch of projects. We are discussing maybe participating in the Easter egg hunt to some limitations, maybe just giving out water and something that's already pre-bagged and everything, instead of doing the hot chocolate and donuts and all that we used to. Just depends what the fire department comes up with. We're on board for that. So I think that's about it. Anything
Okay.
else, Rich?
No,
I
you
think-
did
I
a
think we did
good
it.
job. Yeah.
Oh, the credit cards. Okay. We asked Callie to look into credit cards because it's an issue up there now, especially now that they're going to be doing passes. And we had some conversation with our pool director up there. So that's in the works. We would like to have the credit cards up there with a credit card, nothing elaborate. And one of the young ladies that's on our park board has looked into something else that we might, Adam thinks we're going to do something to do with the phone or something.
It's
Yeah, you could do credit card by phone.
Yeah, they were just hoping
Yeah.
to not have it they didn't want to use what's called a square, which goes on a device or on a phone. So it's going to be based in the pool house. It'll probably be wireless so they can use it. So he had some concerns with folks using it, but I think we're going to move forward with credit cards. We've raised the fee a little bit at the pool, so it's just today's world, unfortunately, guys, credit cards, debit cards, this thing that we all carry around, it's all what people are using. I mean, it's Venmo, and you've heard all the terms, and it's Apple Pay. It's just the youth of today walk around, they don't carry cash much anymore. So we'll get it done.
And included in your package, you'll see our future projects. We started to remove the one alcove on the side that faces the hill that you can't see through. And they did come up with some really bad damage, and we're going to be glad to get that out of there. And so it doesn't fall down on somebody's head, and redecorate that side of the pool or outside of the park here with something we have in the works for our 100th anniversary project that we have in mind, but we're not letting that one out of the bag yet. Other than that, they removed an old electrical pole. We're going to have a pool house painted and some signage. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, just two things. Go ahead, Tom. Yeah, first thing is basketball hoops. What's up with the what's?
I had some complaints that they said that the one basketball hoop has been broken since last year. Okay, and the comment was made that they were not outdoor rims, not the basketball basket, that hangs, but the hoop itself, that they aren't sturdy enough. Rich, and I can remember when we put it up, when John was still on, that we got the best outdoor hoops we could. We can't help, I don't know whether they broke and
No,
they're probably hanging on it.
just update from today. They're fine. I was up there shooting baskets today.
That's what I thought. They were
I think what they
breakaway
meant,
rims.
Eric, were nets, which we replace
Oh.
once every 2-3 months. The
Yeah.
nets get ripped, but the hoops are good. I mean, someday we're going to need to upgrade the boards there.
So I addressed it and I returned the
Yeah.
phone calls and told them it was in the workings, it was being checked on, so other than that. Here, the question.
Okay, no, it was just a comment. Re-engaging parks, facilities, things like that. So check your email, you should have it.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and that's what I looked at. That's even
More expensive?
what all we did last year, Joe, and they've been updating. So there's a new one that might even pertain to Leah, who does the Camp Splash.
Yep. Okay.
We're up there. So there's some new guidelines, Joe, that Eric has. And Denise, you might want to take a look at those too.
I
So
can send
it
it.
looks
I'll
like we
send
have
it.
fresh documentation.
And I think that's the organization we based a lot of.
On last year's, yeah, because I
Yes, I
have,
don't know.
that's
This
what I
is,
have.
this is
copies.
current though, so we
Yeah.
should be, I would
Looking
assume
at
it
it
would be
right now.
okay again.
I'll forward it to you all.
And I'd be glad to meet with anybody who want to put procedures in place, like you did last year. And that last year was late just because of the circumstances.
Right.
Yeah, maybe if we can get Eric, if you can shoot that over. Well, I got it too, so yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it to you,
When
so.
did you send that to me? Eric?
I sent it was probably around 4:00, 4:30
Oh,
today.
okay. And I haven't gotten it yet. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Leah is on board. She's already got stuff going on for Camp Splash. She's excited. We told her that she could probably use a couple of the Peony Pavilion in addition to the big pavilion, the one that she usually uses, which will be socially distancing. She knows about the mask. She is going to be attending classes, but she has her second in charge. So she'll be there during the day till noon, and then the other lady, young lady, she'll love me for calling her a young lady, will be taking over. So, and Susan says she's gotten hit after hit. These people want this Camp Splash back desperately. So, Tommy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Okay,
Bathrooms, are they lockable or are they gonna be locked?
which bathroom?
Porta johns.
Oh, it's gonna, go ahead, Rich. They're gonna remain unlocked.
I mean, there's no water no sewage.
There's
no-
nothing that they can really damage unless they want to take the changing table away. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Can I,
Yeah,
tell
and
me,
they did ask, the softball association asked for you guys to look at the ladies' restroom. There was some problem up there. Something, and I think it was minor, the toilet roll dispenser and something else. The lock or something. The faucet, yeah, the faucet, that's what, yeah.
but I want to, while you're on that subject and we get everybody here, I'm just thinking for me, I'm not comfortable with leaving them open 24/7. That's just, I'm thinking somebody's going to do something to them.
No, it's just, it's like our porta johns are open all the time too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's.
Well, I just, you know,
There's nothing,
It-
Nothing,
there's nothing in it except sanitizer, and toilet paper.
the toilet is in a
That's it.
toilet.
Yeah.
It's just like a,
okay, I mean, as long as
Pizza
it's,
If they wanna go.
just like having back in the days,
Yeah.
outdoor.
If
outhouses.
you wanna see one,
I just passed.
Bingo has them all over the place.
I mean,
So-
I don't go out Mingo at night to know. I just want to make sure, that's all.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I was
mean,
gonna
the
say,
building
because
is
there's
actually-
And
something,
we have a camera up there,
okay.
so
I was just thinking there may be something else we could
Or
work
like
out. if it's-
outdoor,
it's a
But we
glorified
can-
porta potty.
If you want to bring your guys out to lock them up, we can change that.
Not necessarily. I want to know what the rules were before we discuss. Jimmy is interested in one school. We did find some classrooms and stuff. Jimmy is going to be the backup. Adam's going to be the primary.
Well,
I mean, that's a call for Denise. I mean, we.
yeah,
we
we're
want
gonna try to
Adam
get
be
him to,
primary, but he still
Yep.
needs to go through the process and get tested and all that, but
I'm not going to comfortable sending a public voice guy for 3 times a day.
no. I mean, Adam, and I can let Denise comment on Adam's position on testing.
Well, after hearing from you guys about the you guys want, I said, to him and have him choose one house. Multiple dates.
hopefully by the end of the month, we'll hear from.
I would not wait for him and
Mhm.
check back with him.
Yeah. There's nothing else.
You can get to him and tell him. he came
Here's
up
something
tonight.
you can confirm, because this just came from Steve, who is licensed, Steve Lucas.
Right.
So from what he says, the arrangement we had last year with the wellness centers
Got it.
sponsoring our testing, which was adequate, that's no longer permitted. I don't know that that's true or not. So if you could check that and find out.
She checks with that and then we'll have
What else you have, Tommy?
a lady come down and check us
Just one
out.
more. Concern of camps last year, both the late today and the early today, made that they're not going to cover this. They're going to have to take on some
Well,
responsibility.
then we'll have to make sure.
Maintain those throughout the week.
Especially since we-
Divided into 2 big pavilions.
Right.
You got 4 restrooms, and then you got 4 tables, you got, they're going to have to assume responsibility. It becomes an issue on Fridays, because most coming on Fridays or Saturdays and Sundays, you have picnics. You try to get those things clean, scrubbed, and everything.
On
ready to
Friday.
go On Friday, and then maintain throughout the weekend. Just saying.
Well, we'll just have to get with her and maybe on Friday they won't use it. Maybe they can use it Monday through Thursday and make, and like you said, if they do their share of keeping it clean and not, maybe not eat up there, but, just do classes up there or something.
They got to get this one, they're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Take care of it.
Maybe she can send the older class up there. Haha, they're probably worse. Anyhow. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
I do have one question.
Sure.
I was asked, do we have a date?
April 15th is what I've told the police officers. Tommy and I talked about that.
Oh, go ahead.
It's open right now, guys. I kept-
They used it
We can
today.
take the fence down, the fence is wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
were on
been
it-
skating
they were
up
on it
there.
This
I'm not sure
afternoon.
how we're gonna keep on in this kind of work.
Yeah, one other thing, I was asked by Bob Maseko to mention to you that the Fourth of July parade is going to be on the 3rd of July. And notification for the chairs to go out is 48 hours. So whether we have to take a vote, whether we have to put it out there, to let everybody know, he said, please make council aware of it tonight.
Oh, this year I'm putting mine out a week and a half.
I'm gonna put mine out right in the little parking lot. Yeah, right. Anyhow, so he just wanted me to let you guys know and be aware of that, because we were discussing that. That's it.
Good, Tom?
I'm asking council, what's your wish on the state?
Well, if you're saying,
The only reason we ever closed it up is because of that weather.
Right.
It's frosting, it's freezing, it's snowing, somebody get hurt. Other than that.
So the fencing is still up there. It's still up right now.
No,
I mean,
there's,
it's down, it's there.
It's there.
It's there, but it's down because the kids were on it at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I went through. They must have been playing hooky. They're supposed
Yeah,
to be in
well,
school.
I mean, couple
oh,
of
kids were
easy
down there.
things
It's a lot
would
of
be,
them adults.
if we want to stick with April 15th and we put the fence back up, they're going to tear it down. We got a camera that you can see their eyeballs now. So Alex, I mean, yeah, so we got a very good camera. I mean, it's recording 3 days. I'll go every day and look. If it's down, if you could commit to looking at that camera and saying, okay, we know who took it down, that is the only way to enforce them taking it down. So we have the camera. It's a good camera. It's real close. So if we want to keep it up to the 15th, which I understand the issue with frost, it is dangerous
Yes.
when they're frosty. So, I mean, my
Even though it's gonna be in
recommendation
the
would be.
sixties and seventies this week.
Yeah,
that
but
you
this
keep
morning
it
was
up to the
19
15th.
degrees.
Well,
I mean, you just got to be careful. I mean, at the end of the day, I would stick to April 15th.
Yeah, I think.
Let's
April
stick to that
15th is a solid date. We've always used April 15th.
I'm fine with it. Like I said, you just, when this weather broke,
Sure,
everybody's out.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
so then that means Alex got to enforce it the next day because it'll be back down. That's how basically what's gonna happen.
That's,
When it hits 70 on Thursday,
okay, you ready? That it? Ready to move along?
let's keep moving.
Okay, redevelopment, Mr. Chandler, Mr. Russo.
Yeah, Lisa went over a majority of redevelopment. Do want to talk that you do have a rendering of the step project between was it
Shelley,
Bocelli's and what is it, the new one?
new,
Fellini's.
this Eric Marsh's building.
So if you could check out the rendering, this was something that Mr. Severine actually supplied Lisa with, and it gains access to the parking in the back of those buildings. And you actually see it's a voting item for tonight to advertise just for bidding. And we're looking, I think we mentioned what it was. Yes. Was it the 31 was the initial bid? Yep, yep. The other thing I have is actually, I was approached by a local government academy about an intern program that they have. And then I'll work with Denise and Josh of any project. It actually has to be a project, but it's from June 1st to August 31st. We'll have an individual come in and actually work on a project that we have. So we'll work with them. We'll include Lisa in that as well.
I have a great suggestion. You probably already have it,
What's up?
code enforcement.
Yeah, Josh is going to be part of that conversation. Yes.
I mean, it could be a big help for us for the summer.
Yes. Yep.
Take a lot of stuff off his plate that he can, keep on other things we want.
My only question is, are these college students
From my understanding,
doing internships?
yes. Yep.
I just want to, that's a good project for them.
Yeah, right.
It's so the qualifications is code enforcement. The qualifications is the financial part of it. There's a number of qualifications for it. But like I said, we'll sit down and.
Yeah, he and Josh are
Okay. Okay. All right. Yep. Rich, anything else?
No, very good. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. Sewer Authority, Mr. Chandler, Mr. York.
I'm gonna defer to Mr. York.
Once again, and respectfully submitted it, to everyone,
Right.
their liking to read.
I read it. I think their reports are pretty. What do I want to say? Maybe we weren't getting them before. I don't know this, but I think they give us a good covering of what all they're doing down there. I mean, I
agree.
I understand what they're doing. Not everything, but I understand what they're doing. So I appreciate that. Okay, moving along. Now we're down to voting items, of which we have a lot. So let's probably do this as organized as we can and okay, Denise, we ready to go?
Yep. Motion to approve February 8th, 2021 meeting minutes of Canonsburg Borough Council.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Russo made the motion. Mrs. Bell seconded. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve resolutions 01-21, the fee schedule.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Mr. Severine made the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll go second.
Mr. York. Roll call. Yeah, roll call. It's money. It's-
Yeah, wait till Eric gets in.
Eric's out of the room right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll pause for a minute while one of the councilmen had to leave the room. Station identification. You know, even with Zoom, we still have to have pauses.
Wait on you, Eric.
Okay, we have Mr. That's all right. That's all right.
Take your time.
Things happen. Mr. Chandler's back. The motion is, Mr. Chandler, to approve the resolution for the fee schedule. And we're going to do a roll call.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
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 Motion to authorize the chief of police to renew the mutual aid compact of Washington Regional SWAT.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
I make a motion?
Mrs. Bell's made the motion. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Bowman seconded. Question on the motion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve extending the police civil service police candidate list to expire on March 9th, 2022.
Motion.
Can I have a motion, please? Mr. York, got the second, please?
I second it.
Mr. Bowman seconded. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve advertising an ordinance amending Chapter 63 Alarms of the Borough Code of Ordinances, establishing a permit system for alarms and violations thereof.
Can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bowman made the motion. Mrs. Bell seconded. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve the conditional use of OmniSite Media LLC to install a billboard located between Four Coins Drive and Route 79.
Motion.
Can I have a motion? I have it. Mr. York, you're getting ahead of me. Second, please.
Second,
Mr. Chandler, second. Question on the motion?
more of a comment.
Okay.
So at 6 o'clock, we had those gentlemen in. We also, in the planning meeting, we also asked for a permanent signage actually on the billboard where it says, "Welcome to Canonsburg," because of the location. And also in the planning meeting, we asked about being able, the opportunity to advertise our events, like the big event, like the Christmas event or the Oktoberfest onto the board. So people passing 79 have the opportunity to see that. So they agreed to it. They agreed to it earlier. So just keep that in the back of your mind as we go forward and as they build this thing, that we're in contact with them for that permanent signage as well as advertising on that.
That was very good of the group that was here to get that done, because
Well, that was give credit to Mr. Chandler there. And I felt obligated, since I did make the motion at the meeting, and I should have.
That's fine.
Follow through.
But I think that's great that you got that. I remember talking to them a year ago about that, but yeah, it would have gone by. If it
I
wouldn't have
can't
brought
take
up.
credit. That was actually Steve Moskow's idea. So
Well, I think it's great. Well, we had talked about it, but it was probably would have got forgotten. So
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion to award bid for one
Wait.
night.
We didn't vote on it yet. That was his question on the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I got ahead of myself.
It's an all in favor.
We got to do a roll call. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Mr. Bell, yes.
Motion to award bid for 119 Greenside Avenue property to Scarmazy Homes in the amount of $250,000.
Can I have a motion on this, please?
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Bales made the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead if you want to give there.
Mr. Bowman made the second. Question on the motion. All in favor, roll call. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve extending back-end parking in the lots an additional 90 days.
Can I have a motion on this, please?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Chandler, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. York. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve Canonsburg Hospital's back-to-school safety parade on August 21st, 2021. Lineup will be at 8:30.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Chandler. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mrs. Bales, seconded. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve Cannon McMillan Scholarship Foundation's Jack-o'-lantern jog on October 30th, 2021, starts at 9 a.m.
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Bales made the motion. Can I have a second? Mr. Bowman seconded. Question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to approve spending $5,000 to survey the Public Works property.
Make a motion, please.
Motion.
Mr. Russo made the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mrs. Bales seconded. Question on the motion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to award contract 2021-02 Ridge Avenue Curb Replacement Project to Independent Enterprises, Inc. in the amount of $89,655 contingent upon Columbia Gas executing a reimbursement agreement with the borough.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Mr. York, can I have a second? Mrs. Bales, question on the motion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to advertise for the hiring of a finance officer.
Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Bales made the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Chandler seconded. Question on the motion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to advertise for bids on a stair project from PNC lot to property located between Fellini's Pizza and Bocelli Pizza, contingent on receiving bid specs from KLH.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Chandler. Can I have a second? Mr. Severine, second. Question on the motion? Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Bales?
Yes. Sorry, I'm reading the next one.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to accept Kim Chickini's letter of retirement effective April 2nd.
Can I have a motion, please?
It's a motion with regret.
Mr. York,
Tell her I said it with regret.
Mr. York made that with regrets. I think that all comes from all of council. Been a lot of years here. Can I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
Second, Mrs. Bales, question on the motion? I think the only question is what Mr. York said. I think we all have the same feelings. Sad to see it, but it comes to us all.
Yeah.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to hire Kim Chickini as a part-time consultant effective April 5th for 24 hours a week at $16 an hour.
Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Chandler, second, Mr. York. Question on the motion?
We were
Roll
sorry to
call.
see her go, but
Sorry.
she's coming back.
Pardon me?
We were sorry to see her go, but she's coming back.
Well, yeah.
She's already back.
It's a new employee. I hope she'll do good, even though she has 30 years of
Seemed like she had
experience.
Similar name.
Yeah, yeah, just a coincidence. She has 30 years of experience. We need her. Yeah.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, and I do want to comment on this one too, because I think it is a plus that we have a retired person who has worked for numerous years for our organization leaving, but she's willing to come back and help us with all her experience and even at a lesser rate, and we appreciate it. And, you know, it works for us and it works for her, I hope. So welcome back.
ART. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. This is comment right now.
Oh, you said like, hey, yes. The kiosk and all that. That's.
No, we're gonna do it now. I was gonna bring up about.
Oh, I apologize. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna bring
I didn't
that
know.
up.
I
I
was
didn't
gonna
know.
bring it up because it wasn't, I don't know why it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, well, okay,
Oh, okay.
wait a minute. Let's,
I'm done
let's,
talking.
we're done with that. John has something, yeah, that question came up today, John, and there's some misunderstanding, so that's what we want to know. It's nothing
what?
throwing it off. We didn't, I think the question was, what was the motion supposed to be?
Motion to pass for, getting the kiosk and putting them in. Move forward with it.
Okay, when I was asked, Mary, I didn't talk to you today because I was working, but when I was asking, I think Denise and Joe, we talked about it. We didn't remember that everything was done and ready to go.
Dave presented it. And everybody, let's go back in time. Last month, Dave, Rich made, come back with a presentation.
Right.
So me and Dave worked on it.
Okay,
So Dave came back and did a presentation.
all right.
Everybody had their questions answered. So then we said, "Moving on."
Well, I don't,
You said,
yeah.
asked Rich, I think Rich heard it, and you said,
I think what the question was is, did we come up with a motion?
We have it.
I think so. Okay, so we have all, that's all
It's on
we
the
were
back.
questioning. We have all the final things, because there was just, the only other thing that think that it came up, and I just want to throw this out.
Who was at that meeting? I can't remember. Right? Was it staff meeting? Oh, yeah. He come up with, yeah, Al, who just left, had the answer. What we were talking about is right now, 50% of our revenue is being eaten up by credit card fees.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw the letter. I saw it.
I've had multiple credit card accounts. It does, it's 2%
Well,
at best.
Go ahead.
50%, you're saying if I spend $1 down at Kogo's, that 50 cents goes to the merchant?
We're talking about the letter
She
or
said
the,
the credit card fees are 50% of the transaction.
That will change. The suggestion is going to be, we have to have a minimum credit card. So what he's suggesting is a $2 minimum. In other words, you come out up to $2, you're going to put points. Anything $2 or more should be a credit card.
why.
I mean, it's an area that I know well. So again, like the credit card at the pool. So you can use a debit card for $2 at a Kogo's. You know what it costs you? $2. Now, the merchant may pay 2% cost of doing business, but the merchant's not going to pay $1. So if I go in and buy a Coke for $1.59, the merchant gets $1.56. He doesn't get 75 cents. So I'd be happy to talk to whatever the vendor, I mean, so I think you should, I know we have not, I mean, there is absolutely zero credit card experience in this borough. So let's not be uninformed about what a credit card fee is. Yeah, it's not 50%. No,
Well,
the world would be out of business if credit card fees were 50%.
The thing of it is, Rich, what brought this up is we had a meeting on something else, and that was brought up during the meeting.
Yeah.
It was the bill or the set.
I got an email from APS.
Yeah.
60 some dollars was our revenue for the one kiosk for the month of February. 30 some dollars was our expense for that kiosk for the credit card.
So
app.
something's wrong, but I think we need to get it.
But so what you need to look at are some of those fees are interest, the processing fee, which is typically 2%. Some of it might be a recurring reporting fee that happens every month for another $12. Some of it might be an exchange fee. They call it an exchange fee that goes bank to bank, might be another 15. So you got to look at it and see what you're buying. I mean, you don't want to buy credit card transactions for a low dollar amount transaction like you were running a high-end retail store that the average, it's all based on average transaction cost. You go buy gas, you get $5 worth of gas on your credit card. You pay $5. You don't pay $2.50. And the merchant gets $5 less 2%. So they might get $4.96. They don't get $2.50.
Dave confirmed that for a 50-cent deposit, they would take 39 cents.
So here's,
but I mean, to make the statement that we think that's true, I think we need to find out.
well, that's why I said, when I saw it at the meeting, the end of the week last week, that was Friday, I think. And I saw that and I said, well, I got confused about what we were doing tonight. And I said, let's hold off until we can figure this out. Because I didn't think we were voting on everything, Mayor. I knew we had approved everything. I didn't know we had all the final. When I saw that, I said, we need to find out something.
No, I think you can still vote on it. I mean,
It's up to what, listen, it's up to what this council wants to do. Yeah.
Keep in mind, kiosks are used predominantly everywhere, you know, city.
Oh, I understand that.
So it's just a matter of getting the right program into what we're using. It's not that kiosks don't work. I mean, you can't use credit cards in kiosks. I think you can. I mean, Eric, you used the credit card in your kiosk for a long time. And so it's just done.
I don't have any problem with kiosks. All I'm saying is make sure we have the right, if we have a company that's going to bill us 50% of everything we make, I mean, whoa, I mean, I saw it in writing and I'm going, I mean, I heard she had the email and I'm going, it says 50%. So go ahead.
Yeah, I start, talking.
We might get, go ahead.
Guess what happened? But anyway, what about the mayor and chief of police? I thought we were going to bring up about like assistant.
We did that already. We voted on that already.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
Number.
You didn't vote on the assistant.
Right.
Do we have to vote on that committee?
We did.
To have a committee? We did?
We did. Asked me to pick it.
Oh, we didn't vote on it. It was just a.
Just for me to appoint a committee. We're not voting on hiring anybody yet.
Okay, but you were, how would you say, was advised to?
I was asked last week and this week, we'll bring up to get a committee.
Okay, all right, so I get straight in my head, okay.
That's all.
That's, you
Okay.
said at the beginning of the meeting, you got something else to bring up?
No, that's fine. I mean, good question. Yeah, it was on there.
We're well on our way of, this is really shocking about this. How much was this again they take?
Well, you understand.
Well, I think someone must got all confused.
Okay,
Someone got all confused.
Okay, I wanted to mention it because I saw the email and all I'm saying is if council wants to proceed with voting with it, whatever. I saw what I saw, and I mean, maybe it's wrong, and I think it's gotta be, but at the same time, if we didn't bring it up, everybody, and then they come out, everybody go, well, you guys knew
John,
about
did you
this.
know about that?
Yeah,
No.
listen, I would say personally, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were.
No, I
we asked you a
didn't, I
question.
didn't know until right now, because Dave did in contact with the people, and the people never told Dave that one time, or Dave would have put it in a package. So all of a sudden now, out of nowhere, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. He was in contact with them. He did his work with the people, so how all of a sudden it come out of the clear blue sky?
I agree.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense, or it doesn't.
think APS.
I've been like,
I saw the email.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
No,
is
no, I
Dave
understand
was,
what you're saying.
Dave got all this stuff
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Now,
APS
why
is
didn't the
credit
people
card
tell them
processing company.
before, about all this at the
that would have
beginning?
jumped out at us like you would
Yeah,
not
it was just
believe.
like boom, out of nowhere. At this, as of this morning, no one knew.
So we could,
Exactly.
sure it is.
Right,
So I don't know if it's an APS thing
All right.
or.
right.
There's a minimum.
Huh?
It's just, well, does that amount stay the same? Or is it just-
Do
We
you,
usually find out
yeah,
what
as,
is the set amount.
as you
Exactly.
said,
I
do
mean,
you
and it's-
wish,
It's a.
Yeah, but we
it's a
need
way
to
of
move forward
processing.
now.
wish to move ahead and vote on getting this, the kiosks, but getting that point straightened
Well, I'm gonna
around?
drop that on John and the mayor.
I,
Just said,
Right.
Denise was, I said, whether, right now, we're under the impression it's Clover. And I said to Denise, can we go to somebody else to look at the programs? She said, yes, right?
Yeah, APS is the credit card company that processes it. Flowbird's the actual kiosk. Yeah,
so the
manufacturer.
kiosk machine.
they're the ones that sell it. So Flowbird, remember this whole setup thing? Flowbird said that the person that they work with is APS. So that's where we went, was APS. There's no, I mean, the only questions they ask you is your bank account routing number.
And they sent you the email without you knowing what it was gonna be.
It just came in and Dave said to me, he said,
I think
Okay.
you can get real granular about credit card processing and fees, and it's it's extremely complicated.
Go ahead, hit me with Dave
But-
got to say.
But it's, as Lisa said, based on the volume, based on APs, based on the type of contract you have. You may have one that's low volume, you may have one that's medium volume. There's exchange fees. There's a lot to it, but at the end of the day, your total fee, including processing, batching, reconciling, should come out to around 2%. And I mean, I'm just saying
Yeah,
that he's not going to be able to get into any details
Right.
in a conference call, but if you want to.
No, if you want to hear at least the general explanation, then we can work.
Do a
from there.
general-
At least
do-
what the questions to ask going forward. Dave, I got you on speakerphone. Of course, you're on live with the public and for council, so I'm gonna put the phone closest to council and microphone.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll let it start off and we'll get some questions. If you could just explain that fee you described to us today, 39 cents or 50 cents, and how that'll work from that point. You said that will decrease. Go ahead.
Absolutely, sure. So Borough Council, thank you guys for having me on the call tonight. So basically, when I talked to APS, which is the company that does the credit card processing through the kiosks, they said that the reason why those fees are so high is because we only had $63 for an entire month on credit card processing for the one kiosk. They said that that will exponentially decrease when we start doing, because I anticipate that revenue to be probably, 5 to 6 times that amount in a month for the kiosks. And based on that, the kiosk company or the payment company said that, that will, on that kind of revenue, we may not have more than $100 worth of fees. So that's going to really decrease that percentage from 53% is what we paid in February on fees. That's going to decrease to probably around 16 to 17%, according to APS, as far as what they explained to me. And I'm also working with their lead financial person to get our rates dropped even further beyond where we're at right now. They're there's some things in there like a $5 statement fee that we don't need to have a paper statement sent out because there's a portal to log in. And I know $5 doesn't seem like a lot, but every little bit helps as far as taking things off the bill. So, but I can tell you for sure that it was a concern. I addressed it with our account rep with APS, and she assured me that as the revenue goes up, the fees absolutely go down. Another thing that between the chief and the mayor and I, we decided to raise the minimum on the credit cards to $1. See, what was happening is we were allowing people to use their credit card for 50 cents. We were getting nailed pretty hard on fees for that. When we move it up to $1, we actually only paid 12 cents to let them use $1. So, right there, if you do the math, I mean, the cost of doing business, that makes sense to just raise it up to $1. That's kind of a convenience fee for them. If any patron wants to use a credit card, they just have to spend $1 with it. And then if we do move ahead with the kiosk project, that will then be pushed to $2 because we're going to get a 50 cents an hour at that point. But, like I said, when we look at the grand scheme of things, raising it to $1 just makes so much business sense. We could, there was really no other choice for us to do as far as what makes sense.
Okay, that's it, right? Okay, I think that's all we need, Dave. We wanted that explanation. Now,
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get why you guys are.
Okay. Well, yeah.
To find out. I certainly don't, me personally, and I've been doing this for a little bit of time with you guys. I don't see this as a big stumbling block for us because again, I did my due diligence with Denise. She made me aware of what was going on, and I did the research with the company just to ensure that going forward, I mean, we understand there's going to be fees. I mean, that's just, like I said, that's the cost of doing business, but those fees are going to greatly decrease when we start to increase the revenue that we're doing through the kiosks. So I'm assured, they assure me that that's not going to be an issue going forward.
So what is the?
Wait 1 second. There's a question.
Yeah, what is the minimum of number of kiosks and what's the minimum dollar amount?
I'm sorry, is that Eric?
Yeah,
That's Eric. So
yes.
what is the minimum number of kiosks that you have to have if that's how they do it to base their fees off of, or is it just strictly the revenue?
It's true, yeah, Eric, it's strictly off of revenue. That's a great question. Yeah, it really doesn't go off of how many kiosks. I mean, you can have one kiosk and do $3,000 a month. So it really just, it's based off of what the revenue dollar is. And even if we get to, the way that she explained it to me is even if we get to $300 a month, we're not going to see fees so high. And I mean, $300 a month, it's just not going to be difficult to get to with credit cards, especially with, a lot of folks, a lot of our credit card usage is through the Flowbird app. And, what they're not realizing is that they go in and use their credit card again, that's another fee. So that's why raising it to $1 just kind of makes sense. That'll give the patrons more time to not have to go back and, use their card again. And it's helping us out back as far as the fees. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
So basically, we can still move forward in bidding and voting on it.
Well, okay. I mean, that's why, listen, I'm the one who started this all. Let's go buy all the kiosks. So I'm not against them. I just wanted to bring this out tonight because it's the first chance we've had. And I said, before we vote on this, we need to have it out so everybody.
I'd like to digest some more of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want somebody.
The longer we wait, Ed, the longer it takes us to get the machines in, because it takes 2 to 3 months.
I'll tell you, I like to take the meters and bring them down. You put a quarter in, you get 7.5, 7.5 minutes. 1 quarter.
Are you want to bring a quarter for 7.5 minutes?
Right. If they want to, so if you put it 2 quarters, then you get 50.
You're talking about downtown Pittsburgh.
I am talking about.
We're not, we'll never get
a little bit more comfortable with that, other than I don't know what I'll get myself into with this.
I think.
Well,
I wish I could say I feel clear about it, John, and I mean that sincerely, not joking around. I don't. This caught me way off guard. I mean,
If I didn't bring it up tonight, we voted on this tomorrow, and these bills start coming in. Next thing you know, somebody's going to. I'm not against this. And it's just. We just need now. I think.
Well, you're still going to have to, even if you did it Ed's way, you're still going to have to pay the money. Either way you look at it, it's still going to be. He said the more, if we put 5 machines in, like he said, it doesn't matter how many machines. It goes by gross amount, how much we bring in.
Applies to maybe
income is from what you're getting right now. Give that number to her and say, what is our fee? If we bring in this much money.
But if you're only going off of one machine in a parking lot, which this parking lot doesn't,
No, she said it's not by the, it's by our revenue.
yeah, but we need to put the other machines in play to find out.
Right, but what I'm just saying is,
Yeah.
let's say you bring in, I'm just gonna number
It's-
$5,000 a month in parking revenue, throw that out there and say, what's the fee gonna be on $5,000?
Yeah, you've got to, it's what's the name of the firm, Dave? AST?
APS.
APS. So whether it's APS or there's thousands of processing companies, they all go through these interchanges. There's probably only 3 of the big boys that do this. So Dave, I'm sure you've seen a statement that has the batch totals, the statement fee, the transaction fee, the 15 cents for this. I've seen those statements. I've worked through those statements. So maybe we can get a statement, a sample statement from the processing company that, and I know it's very detailed, but I've looked at those a lot. So maybe we can just present that to council, say, I understand, here's your $500 a month, and here's where your 3 or 4% fees are and what makes them up. Batching fees, transaction fees, debit and credit cards are different than just credit cards. Sponsored credit cards, if you have a credit card that's sponsored by a college, it's different than a credit card sponsored by a MasterCard. There's so much into it. It's very, very detailed, but I think we get a statement and we put it on the big screen behind us. I think that'll help us all understand, and I can help walk us through that.
Yeah, you're exactly, was that Rich who was talking?
Yes.
Okay, hi, Rich. So you're exactly right. So when I talked to them, I have a statement from them from February, and that's how this all got started. Is when Days gave it to me, the first thing I did is look at all the fees and say, okay, wait a minute. And I researched that for the last week, just to make sure that prior to tonight's meeting, we weren't going to hit any issues that I needed to address with everybody. And I made sure the mayor was aware, and that Denise was aware, the chief was aware. But like I said, going forward, this is not going to be an issue. I did all my due diligence to do the research based on these fees. The reason why these fees are so high is you have to look at it as, you only did $60. I mean, if you do $60 in revenue, these places are going to nail you on fees. When that goes up, of course, the more business you do, the better rates you're going to get. But again, like you said, it has to do with debit cards are a few pennies based on the dollar amounts they spend. And then there's additional fees from the, everybody wants their couple pennies off of every dollar they spend.
I mean, the one that surprises me, if you use a card that gets you miles, so you get frequent flyer miles, that costs more money.
Absolutely.
So that's how detailed it gets, that my Visa card that gives me airline miles, the merchant might pay an extra 25 basis points, a quarter of a percent for that card, but it's all part of it. So,
yes,
I mean, I think.
That's why changing the dollar amount to $1 an hour, the minimum to $1 is where that, right off the bat, that exponentially changes the rate that we're charged, just because we're bringing more money in on that transaction. So even if we're paying 39 cents, which it's not, but even if we're paying 39 cents on every dollar, that's a whole lot different than 39 cents on 50 cents. So
right
there, that changes that, I don't even know what it works out to be, but that changes it a whole lot. But then when we take it down to 12 cents for every dollar, and that's an average number that she gave me, that changes it even. That's a game changer for me, taking it from 39 cents on 50 cents, taking it from that to, like 12 cents on a dollar.
Right.
And like I said, I made sure I did every bit of research that I could possibly do to ensure that we're not going to get, backed into a wall with these fees, because prior to me seeing the statement, I was aware we had this company. It's time to go to do the research with those guys out there. So
sure.
Well, I mean, I feel better. I think they understand it. They're there, I mean, what I saw was panic, and I didn't know anybody who was working any further. And that was Friday when I saw it. So when I talked to Denise today. I said, which agenda? Maybe it's
Well, I think
something else.
so processing is a separate issue from the project. I mean, my recommendation for me will be to vote to approve the project. The details of who processes, how you process, what's the expense of processing, the negotiated best processing deal. It gets renewed annually, so you have to negotiate that. You have to tweak it, no different than you tweak your cable bill. You have to stay on top of it. But the project itself that Dave and John
Right.
presented, I think is worth a vote to move forward on.
So
But-
there was three things that I can remember right now that we talked about. Where I answered. One of them was, how much are we going to charge overall for parking? $50 an hour. That was the conversation. Talked about the parking time. Mr. Works into the project, and then those costs. But that's part of the business.
Yeah, exactly.
But as long as they're
Just so you guys
coming,
know,
right.
So Mitch, just one more thing. So Mitch, I talked to Mitch from the Bus Tickets who provides the kiosks. And, you know, they really done their due diligence on researching, you know, payment processing companies as well. And he personally, his company personally uses because not only do they have a very good track record with working with customers, if we have an issue, we're doing millions of dollars a month. You know, small time business like this is the best processing company that he's found. But like I said, they have great support. I already have Kim Lombard's the name of our rep. I have a pretty good rapport built with her already. She said if we ever have an issue, like right now, like I said, there's a support request open with their lead financial person to tweak our rates even more. So I'm pretty confident they'll be able to get better rates than we have right now with those guys. So, you know, that's why I didn't, you know, raise this as a thing of concern. It definitely needs to be out there, but I don't personally feel that this is anything that should hold up the project, because if we need to, we can look at different processing companies, you know, down the line if we're not happy with the fees going forward. So.
Okay, that's good.
Mr. President, if I can, I'll turn back to the packet that I had given you. Total cost of the project, $66,008.00, with $12,048.
Okay.
Okay. And that was all under CoStar's program. I just want to make sure I give you the right.
Well, yeah, I don't think purchasing them there is even a question. I think we're okay with that.
Okay.
It's just, like I said, when I saw that Friday and I didn't know that he had gotten anywhere with it, I just said to Denise, we need to find out about it. This is like, whoa, you know. I
Well, it
mean,
wasn't on the agenda.
What's that?
It wasn't on our agenda.
Now, well, the mayor called today.
We thought, we thought it was.
We felt it should,
until-
it
It wasn't
That was
on our
confusing.
agenda. Am I correct by saying?
You're not
We were.
understanding.
I'm not understanding. It wasn't, I'm looking.
Right, it wasn't on your
Wasn't on the
agenda because we thought it was going to be on the agenda, and then the other half thought it wasn't going to be on the
it
agenda.
was an error in thought here, because I guess.
Me,
as
Dave,
Rich
Rich,
said-
a couple of us thought it was, I thought it was on there. I thought after he did it,
Did you get the
Dave.
agenda at home and look at it?
I got the agenda, okay? But last Monday, we didn't have it. Last Monday, I thought after we got done, after he had his presentation, it was gonna be on here. Because we were told that as long as we come back and give a presentation, you guys answered the questions, and then we were moving forward. That's how me and Dave, Rich understood it, Dave understood it. After we thought, when I looked at my papers on Friday, I said, Dave, I called Dave and said, hey, it's not on there. It should have been on there, because I thought that's what was happening. We did that whole presentation to move forward. If anybody had questions that day, they
Right,
answered it.
right.
Everybody answered the questions. This that came on now just came about when?
It was late last week.
Late last week. Okay, I didn't know about it. Dave didn't know about it. It wasn't that, no one knew about it. I'm just hearing about this right now.
I honestly thought.
I think that the anxiety is just the anxiety of credit cards. I know this borough's never accepted a credit card in its life. It's new, it's different, but it's going to be okay. I mean, believe me when I tell you, taking credit cards is not the end of the world.
Oh, I don't think it is. I just thought their rate was questionable. But
How could you
now,
not?
but now I hear these explanations and it makes sense to me. I mean,
If I wanted to run in
everybody
here and
else is
run into
using
the-
it.
I wanted to come in here, run something in, give it to Denise, John Q. Public, hand it to her, give it to Cal, run back out, it's gonna cost me $1.
On a credit card.
That's what I said.
Well, but if you got 2 quarters, you could pop 2 quarters in
Or one.
or one.
If you're fast.
Well,
You know what? I think, listen, I think.
What about the people that long time ago, let's go without the credit cards. Okay, we go with the regular meters out there. A lot of people never had change.
You know,
So what did they do? They ran there and took the chance and not put no money in.
I think, I wanted to bring this up because we wanted to make sure this was discussed somewhere and we were clear with it. And I think we are. I think they've done their due diligence. The presentation that Marinette made was everything we could ask for. We couldn't come up with any other questions for you.
All right, we were saying, is it a vote now?
Yeah, I think we need,
John, is that what you're working?
Yeah,
on?
I'm working for move
Rich
forward.
Rich made
We
the
could deal with
your
the credit
I'm
cards
good.
and all
I'll make
that.
the motion if you want me to make the motion.
One question, are there any agreements that
Sure. You'll have an agreement with the credit card processing company. And you'll have,
I'm assuming there's terms agreements with the,
I think they went through that last week as far as you buy 1 year service agreement, 2
Well,
year
ask
service
Dave did
agreement.
it, so just ask Dave.
Right.
no, what I'm getting at is the motion going to proceed on their own business. Contingent upon approval of all necessary.
Fees or whatever. Okay? Just as long as your fees and everything are all straightened around, we get this all straightened around.
So with your conversation here, Mr. President, the fees that when we left our presentation last week, was how much are you going to charge for a transaction? It's been recommended from the committee to be a minimum of at least 50 cents. You're going to do in our space, it's going to cost you 50 cents.
Problem with that.
Okay. And then the second part of that is the meters on the streets. What do you want to establish there?
Well, I think the fees for the meters and the fees out there on the street aren't what's under question here. The only thing we were looking at is we're gonna make this $60,000 purchase and get these machines and then find out, we don't want to get it in and find out, oh my God, look what they're gonna charge us. Now it's.
Oh, okay.
You know,
What you were doing over there.
You've
I thought you were doing the
addressed-
nose.
You've been raising our rates for, as he said, we can lower our rates or raise our rates. It's no problem. We're willing to do that. But it was just the price of which you've answered. You've answered it. It's not going to be that high, that we understand that. So I don't have any problem with it. And then, as our solicitor said, we discussed it in old business. Unfortunately, it did not make the list today.
But it's on the list now.
Yes.
Everything is going to be ordered. We've got to be able to tell them the software side. We just handle that internally, what it's going to cost. We need to talk about that now. What will kiosk transaction cost?
It's not going to cost them
Nothing,
anything, Dave.
Dave.
It's a cost of doing business. If I pay $5 for a transaction to buy something for $5, you don't charge me $5.20. You, as the merchant, you heard Dave, cost of doing business eats that 12 cents. Okay.
You want the kiosk to give them 50 cents a half an hour worth of time, or an hour's worth of time? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I
Oh,
think
no, we
during
went
the
with-
budget talks, we
we went with-
decided that we were going to change rates. We put in a budget that we went from 25 cents for an hour to 50 cents for what? I can't remember. Alex, help me.
25 cents an hour
What
to
did we
50
put in
cents an
budget?
hour.
50 cents for an hour.
Right,
So that's what we voted on.
right.
I mean, we voted on that.
We are
Yeah.
still.
We already
at-
voted
at
on that,
50
Dave.
cents, we are still the discount place of America.
The only,
Yeah. No, I understand. Well,
the only difference is,
but it's good we're getting this done now because we're getting ready to vote on this and even you had that question. So we
yeah,
need to
the
know.
only difference is, like what Alex said, the only difference is that it's changed is instead of, the minimum of 50 cents, it has to be to $1, right?
To
Use a
use a
credit
credit
card.
card.
Well, before we were, right now it's 50 cents if you use the credit card, right?
Yeah,
So
we-
that's
we
the
lose
only
our- we
change.
lose our shirt on that.
Right,
Right. Well,
so
that's
the
what
change,
he wants
what I'm saying is when we do this, the change the only change between last week and this week, it's 50 cents, instead of being 50 cents. for using the credit card, it'll be $3.
Yeah.
Everything else stays the same.
Hey, Joe.
I think I got it right.
You said there was an 8-week lead time to get these things installed, is that correct?
Yeah, 2 months.
8 to 12 weeks. So maybe you can hash out what.
The fees we can work on anytime. We're not locked in.
Right.
We are the council, so we're gonna do what's best for the citizens in the town. And if we decided 4 weeks down the road when machines are coming, you know what, maybe we need to make it something else, then that's what this group right here does.
So,
When they bring it in, they can set it.
so for clarity purposes.
Okay, go ahead.
Right? No,
I'm serious.
so if it's 50 cents, if I'm using cash for the kiosk, it's 50 cents.
Right.
If I'm using my credit card, it's $1.
You're paying for 2 hours. minimum.
Okay, I'm just making sure we're clear that
Yeah.
when I use the kiosk and I'm using for $1, then it's I'm paying with my credit card, it's $1 for 2 hours. We good, right?
Right.
Okay, all right.
I mean, just driving the city of Pittsburgh once and put in an hour. It's
Well,
not
yeah,
$1 or
it's more in
$2 or
Pittsburgh.
whatever, you know?
No, son,
What is it?
you don't have to put in for,
Well,
you
they're
can
bigger.
do, nope, you can set it 15-minute increments or 30-minute increments.
But I'm saying they're bigger time, they can afford it with what the income, if the income's based on, or if your interest is based on the income, then they're way ahead of what we are, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Okay, I think I'm all right with everything. I mean, I feel
Good.
Mayor and the committee have prepared it all. Let's just, I'm not sorry I
Let's
brought
move
it up because
forward.
it's gonna come up somewhere.
Yeah, well, at first you weren't like I was, like, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, well, I saw that paper and I said, let's find out by Monday what's going on. And then I worked today, I didn't hear what was going on, so I said, I gotta bring it up. Just explain it to me.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
All
Okay,
right. So now you have to ask how you're gonna present that.
give us a motion, Mr. Solicitor.
How you present that one, Joe?
I'll start, and if it needs to be changed, you interject. Motion to approve purchasing 5 kiosks for a total of $66,008. And it will be contingent on the solicitor's approval of all agreements.
Okay, everybody got that?
Okay, Dave?
Can I have a,
I'm fine.
Put in there about the recurring cost for this.
It covers that, doesn't it?
It covers that, Dave.
Covers that way she read it.
The initial 66,000, yes, sir. Next year, it does. Recurring cost.
and all yearly agreements we're gonna sign, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
and
it a year-to-year agreement or is there a long-term condition? Well, the borough will have to enter a new agreement for 20.
Okay, because everybody knows there's gonna be costs down the road.
well, and by then, the machines will be paid for. We'll be worried about the other.
But we know there's costs down the road, so, all right, anybody have any problem? All right, you ready for that? Is that good? Is that where you want it to be?
Mhm.
Can I have a motion on that?
I motion it.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second. Question on the motion. Now's the time to ask it.
Okay. Mrs. Bells. You and I on finance committee. I'm gonna go to different people with their expertise. With credit cards like yourself, Rich, John, which you're finding out all over Heckenback. Even with going to Philly, they're doing in Pittsburgh. We need all that input. Eric, whatever you can come up with.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna comb over this. I don't want to get stung, and I don't expect to get stung, and I'm not looking like I got a review here, but there's always something that, we, have a tendency of stealing a better idea from somebody else, or, somebody who else been through it, who has a kiosk. Other than Pittsburgh, if we have something around our size of town, if we can get some information, you agree with that, Harry? If we can get some information, some input, we're always famous for, grabbing what we can from. I don't know if Charleroi does it.
Mount Lebanon and Mount Oliver both have the same machines that we're putting in and the same credit card companies.
Okay, that's good, but could we get like a little bit more how they tweak? Is that the word squeak or tweak? Tweak. Thank you, tweak. I know. Tweak the way they were doing it, because Mount Lebanon, and they're not, they're on top of their game plan, and I want to, just catch up to them.
Yeah.
Carnegie has it.
They actually,
Carnegie has it?
they
Does Carnegie?
actually had machines in. Now they just talk to Mitch and they're doing the whole town that way.
You're holding back on me, John.
Well, I'm not holding back. I told you that's where I got the company from.
All right.
I went to Mount Lebanon. You're the ones that gave it to me.
All right, just Josh.
Okay.
Just Josh.
All right.
Whether you talk a big city or small city, what Canonsburg was looking for was the product that was going to give us the best service.
Okay.
And I believe we had the other company here. Everybody kept wanting to push to make a purchase. And, we talked with experts and this is the best we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And then we had a lot of problems. We just couldn't.
Well, I think you know where I'm coming from too. We're going to tap into every.
I know. Okay, we have any other questions on the motion? Callie, you ready? You still with us? Roll call. Roll call. Yes. Yes. Thank you all for the cooperation. Worked out well. It's good to discuss it thoroughly. We're coming into the 21st century with kiosks now.
Credit cards.
We're moving right into it.
Oh, the next step will be Rich and them at the park. And they'll be the next credit card. And then the next one will be in their office with Denise.
Okay.
I
Yes,
do have
Denise.
one more question. Tina, did you mention about the Stewart bill when you did the motion to approve?
motioned
it?
it.
Yeah, she
Did
did.
she?
Yes, she did.
Kelly, you let me down.
Yes, she
Okay,
did.
because I didn't hear it.
Kelly, what do you-
We received the late, yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good, great.
Entry and it's supposed to be working on. Right?
We're okay. Yes,
Yeah,
she
We're
did.
good,
Yeah, we're
okay.
good.
Okay.
The zoning map, Veronica, this Friday. Okay. So that should be done. And what was the next process? Does our council approve it or does the county? How does that? Which?
Both planning, the borough planning and the county planning.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other two things
Yeah, I
discussed.
project, Veronica hit on her report. Comcast, our solicitor did, and time clocks. I don't know how you want to proceed
Okay.
on that. So,
Yeah.
and that's all I have for unfinished business. And go ahead.
Oh, the meters, we didn't vote on that tonight. That's what you were talking about. We needed to vote. I thought we did that once before, but I guess we didn't. We definitely said we wanted to do it a while ago. Yeah, well, let's make them, let's do it tonight. Let's not keep putting it off. It's gonna start, rain season's coming.
Can you help with that motion? We don't know how many months. Okay. Yeah. So it would be.
Yeah, you just said North Jefferson.
I always thought it was
It's a
bridge.
tracks.
It's,
Get out of here.
It's
Really?
the
It's
The
crick.
north,
tracks?
it's
the
north and
crick.
south.
It's
a
the crick.
bridge.
It's RT's wrong. North Jefferson
not the
ends at the crick,
tracks.
not the tracks.
It divides. north
Because
and
the
south.
school, the
It's a-
school
it's a
nurse
crick, I
administration
always
is
thought.
number one, is one North Jefferson. Yeah, everybody gets that confused. It's not at the railroad track, it's at the crick.
Yeah, that's what I thought. too.
Yeah. It's at the crick, it's north, the
Yeah.
separation,
It's a
it's at the crick. So number school, the school district's number one, so everything from the crick this way
Wait a
is more
minute, wait a minute.
central.
No, I don't want to belabor this, but I think you're wrong. I
No,
think the
I'm not wrong.
administration building is on the other side.
No, it isn't. No,
of the railroad
administration
track.
is one North Jefferson.
Okay, I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Okay, get it right. I just want to make sure you guys get it right.
It may be, but I'm just saying it was always a railroad track, so whatever.
That was when the creek was closer to the railroad track at one time. I mean, when it was over the other way.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, when the creek was closer to the
Well,
railroad track.
I was going with it. Motion to approve monitoring the sewer flow on South Jefferson, North Jefferson.
Well,
Well,
you
where?
guys need to
can I-
get your-
Oh, on that side, yeah. Okay. We're gonna meter manholes on Jefferson Avenue. Okay. Motion to approve metering sewer flow in manholes on Jefferson Avenue.
Okay, can I have a motion on that? Mr. Russo made the motion. Second. Mr. Severie, second. Roll call. Oops, whoop, question on the motion. Roll call.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, we did it. It's just when you get meetings like this, it's what borough business is. It takes time to figure it out. Nothing's easy.
I got a final motion
To adjourn.
to adjourn.
All right, can I have a second on the motion?
Second.
Whoa, wait a minute. Time out. The mayor's raising his hand. Okay.
We're just gonna meet.
I thought I did already. Yourself, Alex, myself,
Harry.
Mr. Bowman,
Yeah.
you want to be on that committee? For the police?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think on this one, because I asked you about being on it, you weren't sure if you could be on it, right? You weren't sure you'd be there
No,
for
that
it.
was
'Cause you're
the
gonna be
Apple Hill issue
Oh, the Apple
at
Hill,
that
okay.
meeting.
All right, then you can sit in on this too.
Okay.
Okay. Is that everybody you need?
Real quick, I gotta give kudos to two of my guys, probably say the best. Jim Smith, Bob Hank, that's it. We're out plowing. We're clearing the roads, curb back off. Multi-valley terrace, we had so much snow piled up, the guys were trying to get the tractor out, so those guys actually took the plows. So the guy who was working up there, who's working for these
Housing.
Housing authority.
Housing authority.
years up there. They come up past it. I said, hey, how are you doing? I said, "I'm not good." I said, what's wrong? I said, I can't move. I said, "Come here." He said, I'm feeling bad. And I'm like, okay. Do you need help? He said, yeah. So they helped him get off the track. They said, well, he just needed a little bit of help. Found out he had no movement in his legs at all. So they take him over to the office, actually carrying him in the office. As soon as they get in, call him, takes him away. He went straight from Canonsburg Hospital, Allegheny General. His wife got it in there, either had an aneurysm or a clot actually on his heart. So his blood pressure was up to 350 or whatever. He was that close to stroking out. But he is home now and we're not sure. We've got to do some procedure with his heart, but I believe those guys, I'm saying, give him a little bit of kudos because I really believe they saved his life. Wow.
That's good.
They were at right place at the right time.
Right place, right time. They wanted to make the action.
Yep.
To do it, so. You have to see the guys with Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, he's gonna see us after me.
We're,
Thanks, Tommy.
can, I think we can. Sure we can. We'll bring him. Yeah, we're allowed to bring him in to recognize him.
Yeah.
Depends how many people we have in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll work on it for next month. Okay.
We'll go to them.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, we'd have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Russo. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Bales, second.